Hey, everybody.
Why?
Ready for some fun?
BabbleGab.
There's a 57 Chevy. See, you're supposed to love that. Hey, everybody.
Oops.
Ready for some fun? Hey.
There we go. That's better. Oh, there we go.
Ah,
Now I hear you.
good. And Steve will be with us shortly. He is eating, I think he has an entire buffalo that he's eating like from the tail forward.
Seems like it's been eating for like 45 minutes now. Anyway, fellers, fuck. Sorry. Um, but we do have Gostock's gonna avoid. He's supposed to come in here.
Yeah.
So if Steve, he'll take over Steve's slack, I guess.
Well, Steve will
Um,
be here directly. He's got to get, 3/4 of the way through the hindquarters of the buffalo.
I
And,
guess.
and there's Mr. Ears.
Sam, Sam. Uh,
Although I'll tell you, we had us a little mini heat wave over the weekend. It was 103 on Saturday and 93 on Sunday. And I realized that when the summer really hits, I am going to have to get a trim. Oh boy. Not like that guy, but at least get it up off the collar.
uh, can always tie it up.
I even tried that and it still was like wearing a wool hat.
It's raining again here.
It's
Uh,
raining
we
again.
had a huge. Okay, get the super tramp out of your system.
All right.
Uh, had this torrential rains the last, I guess, all weekend, like every day, and and thunderstorms, and it's been so I was kind of monitoring what's the yard gonna, because I'm used to like when it does that during the night, waking up and seeing a lake, and I don't see no lake. There's a little low area that's collected water, a puddle. Other than that, I can get around a puddle.
Yeah.
That's fine. Everybody's got a puddle in their yard. I'm just glad it's not a lake anymore. Who do we have in chat?
Hi.
Oh, David, high energy David from
Yeah.
high
And we
energy.
got Priscilla. Hi, Priscilla. And we got Elvis. Hey,
Oh,
Elvis. Um, I wonder if it's the same Priscilla and Elvis from they had that sitcom back
yeah.
in the 60s. Uh,
Hi.
uh, Hunka 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 stuff. That sitcom. Remember that?
Yeah.
Was that Elvis's last cool song?
Probably. Because that was the thing too, like I always say that the 50s rock and roll was all, for kids. And so Elvis did a lot of that, Vegas ballads and all that crap, because it was more grown up or whatever.
But I consider that Hunka Hunka Burning Love more like the old
Yeah. Well, he
Elton.
would go he would go back and forth.
Yeah, because that was from 72, I think. And I can't think past 72. I can't, I'm having trouble thinking of uh any hits that he really, I mean, Moody Blue. I guess that was a later kind of hit for
Yeah.
him. I guess that was a good song. That was kind of like a bit of like Suspicious Minds and in theme. Uh, Wonder of You. Uh, I don't know. I think that was from like 70s, so we're going backwards again. So never mind. Ooh, that was pretty good Elvis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Boy, this sucks.
Really?
Just, yeah. I
Got
wish
he got,
Gottschalk would get here.
he's got a joke book. Yeah.
I'm fine with the joke book. I just need that third square going.
See, this is the scary shit. Well, that's divided highway, but they have another part of the film. They had like just a 2-lane road, and he's like taking a half hour to pass somebody. It's like if he unless you can get by him real quick, just hanging out there in the wrong lane. Another DeSoto. Look at that, man. It's
Yeah, the turtles almost left this world in the 60s, when they were, even when they were big, a lot of times they just toured in a station wagon with a trailer. And they're going down a 2-lane road. And a semi truck going the opposite direction passed another semi truck. So there were two semis coming at him. And he just said they just screamed and they managed going between both semis.
oh
I think one of them veered into the shoulder just enough where they squeezed through and they pulled over and like threw up on the side of the road.
yeah.
I mean, it really was kind of because they had like an incident in their DC-3 that they had that where I guess the landing gear kind of locked up and they went out in the field and they thought it was funny and you know they got a hoot out of it, but they said there wasn't any laughing this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That wagon.
See now,
Change your underwear.
Steve, can we hear you instead of that bullshit?
Come on in, Steve.
See now, there's parallel parking. This guy's good at it. You know the funny thing that was with the Miata, I actually had trouble parallel parking that thing as short as it was, until I realized that because it's a 2-seater, you're sitting all the way back in the car. It's almost like driving the car from the back seat. So I had to, because you pull up alongside the car ahead, and then you start turning at a certain point. But I had to start turning earlier because I was sitting further back in the car. Relative
Well, that happened to the Mustang on the way home from church. All of a sudden, I had no power steering, and so I'm like, you know what? I haven't ever checked the power steering fluid in this, and sure enough, when I go home, it was bone dry. So I went to Lowe's to use their Wi-Fi so I could tell you all my internet wasn't working. And I returned some carriage bolts and got some new ones that were the wrong size, and so I replaced those. And they're still the wrong size. I'll be so glad to be done with these monkey bars. Anyway, I asked if they had cotter pins, and the guy there, he was really helpful, but they didn't have them. He says, maybe it's an automotive. I'm like, automotive at Lowe's? And sure enough, they got an automotive. And I found my power steering fluid. I found a motor oil I could put in the lot. It's like, I don't have to go to Walmart. Y'all saved me a trip.
Yay.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah,
because we used to put go ahead.
Yeah, these ATF. Yeah, I think on General Motors, they just said use ATF, and other manufacturers use power steering fluid, because you got that power steering on the Ford. It's got the piston thing down by the steering linkage. And like every other old Mustang you see, there's at least one power steering hose that's hanging down and almost touching the road. So you got to make sure that those lines are not.
I noticed there was a hose that was low, but I kind of figured it was a wire that I ran for the horn that I hadn't hooked up yet. I'll go look at that, Tony. Good idea. Yeah, God's chalked that book.
Yep.
The facts that sound like bullshit, because it at least steers our conversation around.
Oh yeah, it was great because exactly. It would spark, and we could talk about all kinds of weird shit, which is what we're good at. I mean, some folks say that we always talk about the same thing, but then we're the same people. We've got certain experiences.
Well, that's why I like getting guests, because then all of a sudden you're talking about something that you're not used to talking about anymore. And they can bring back memories or bring back something that's maybe been that we haven't thought about.
Yeah. So we get Stanley Livingston back. We were starting to talk about aviation because the funny thing is about my three sons. I remember watching it first run back in the day. Never really saw any reruns of it. I didn't realize that the dad actually worked at Lockheed, like my dad.
Yeah, and I liked Stan Livingston because he also talked about doing theater, local theater in Kansas City. So
Yeah.
Steve and I picked up on that because that's both of those topics interest us. So if those who don't know, that he played Chip on the My Three Sons. He was
Yeah.
the hunk boy, I guess, the one all the girls
Yeah, he
liked.
played Chip Douglas, the character on TV, not Chip Douglas, the producer, drummer, whatever, bass player. I forget.
I think everybody has forgot Tony.
Oh,
Uh, anyway,
it's just when they introduced Chip Chip Douglas at the 40th anniversary of the Monkey movie Head. Molly and I were there at this theater, and they introduced Chip Douglas, the musician guy, and I start going da 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 da, and then Molly gives me the elbow.
there was a little girl on there. Is it Dodie or something?
Dowdy.
Dodie. There was a little girl that was in the later episodes. The kind of the cousin Oliver, before the triplet cousin Olivers. But uh, there were people on IMDb or Movie Chat, one of them, same thing. But they were this and Dodie, this ugly little girl, and she couldn't act, and blah blah blah. And they just, and then the actress saw it and commented on that, saying it, wasn't very nice. And I always think, I always don't like to talk about people like that because they are people, and they do probably they might look at those, and if they don't, maybe they have a kid or a friend that does, and it's just like, yeah, be nice. If you don't have anything nice, unless they're just insufferable, horrible,
Yeah.
like Rosie or something that just brings it on herself, But
Steve
boy,
says he's.
you see like recent pictures of Kathy Griffin. Oh my gosh, look like death incarnate.
Yeah, well, the inside works its way outside after a while.
It does. Oh my God, and she wasn't really one of those people that was never a pretty picture. But if somebody's personality is good, you look past that.
Oh, yeah.
But if their personality is worse than their appearance, then oh my gosh.
Like you can have like two 80-year-old women, and one of them, raised kids and grandkids and just, basically loved everybody and helped everybody. And you can see it in them. And then the other one is just this old bitch who's nothing but a complain her entire life, and just everything was, and you could tell the difference. It's just your life kind of eventually just comes through.
Well, yeah, and that sour face from being an asshole ends up being permanent after
Yeah,
a while.
because your face will gonna stick that way.
And it does. I've seen it happen. I had a boss when I worked at Blue Cross, and he was like that. Kind of a, typical kind of a, what am I? I don't know, stocky, kind of a little bit fat, kind of Italian-ish looking guy, white guy, but just kind of had that face, that sour face.
Yeah.
And he was the grouchiest guy, just always. Yeah, basically that was what he looked like all the time. And one time on the radio, first thing in the morning, he starts yelling at me on the radio, or two-way, and I start yelling back at him.
Yeah, I remember.
I didn't take no shit
Yeah, yeah. I
back
remember,
then.
and I don't know what the context was. There's this woman that I had to deal with for some reason, and she was like, "Arr," just constantly, "Arr," you all bunched up facing on her.
Yeah.
And her name was Happy.
It's kind of like a car dealer calling him honest,
Yeah.
Bill or whatever. And so the ones you have to avoid.
Yeah.
Well, look at the View. All those women are called Joy
Oh, yeah.
Whoopi. It's like, and they all have those permanent scowls,
And Whoopi didn't used to be like that, but she just got more just angry at everything, and just
Well, they had the Orange Man on their show, and they were just
they
all
used to
over
love
him.
him. Celebs used to love him.
Yeah. It says whoever pays them told him you can't love him anymore. You got to hate him. That's all it is.
Yeah, Gottschalk says she was happy to be mean. Yeah.
And like I was saying, those cars, those almost white colors on white, didn't do them any favors in their
Yeah.
frumpiness, you know? It's just like, good grief. That's like really light pastel.
Well, I remember when I was a kid in the '60s, we have our little summer cabin up in Northern California, and there was always these abandoned cars around. People would just, just leave them on the side of the road, or they didn't run no more. And they were, so this was like the mid late '60s, so the old junkers were like early '50s, and I swear almost every damn one of them was this light mint green. That was like the standard color of every car.
Yeah, and
Very,
or
very dull mint green.
yeah, or like that car I just showed, a very uh faded butter yellow on
Yeah.
white, or sometimes it was a very faded pink on white, and it's just like live a little, folks,
Yeah.
you know. Now my Galaxy, my 71 was that mint green, that pastel kind of thing. Wasn't my favorite color, but it was okay.
Yeah.
I could think of worse colors. The worst color, one that was worse, was my mom's Galaxy. It was a custom 500 is what it was. It was a 74. My dad gave it to her in the divorce. And that thing was like a pastel banana yellow. Ugly color. Ugly color. Oh my gosh. The car of itself was neat, but
Yeah.
goodness.
So this is what got me talking about the. This is scary as crap to me. I would never be that second guy.
Oh no, yeah. Well, you let the first guy crash and then you kind of,
Yeah. See, he kind of thinks better of it, but then the guy behind him is because you don't know what the hell's on the other side of that little hill. I'd be like, here comes a yeah. Is that a Volkswagen? It is a Volkswagen. Oh my god. Or you were talking about, was it the turtles? There was one semi passing another. Now, when Steve actually comes to, we got to ask him about semis passing each other because there should be a goddamn law against that. Because, with the speed differential of 1.5 miles an hour.
oh yeah, yeah, exactly. They shouldn't even be allowed to pass each other on a 4-lane road,
Yeah.
unless they're serious about it.
Well, unless they can actually complete the pass in under, 35 minutes.
That's yeah, exactly. Boy,
People are so dumb.
I know.
Like, look at this guy.
That's my
He thinks
cousin Jerry.
he's pushing the steering. He thinks he can make it go faster by pushing the steering wheel. And then he's grabbing the. Yeah, this guy.
Now this guy's finally going to go to sleep on the side of the road, and then the cop's going to stop. You can't sleep on the side of the road.
Would you rather I slept in the road with the car moving?
Yeah, exactly.
And let the perfect be the enemy of the good. All right. Actually, I noticed that after a few years of driving the California freeways, I was actually able to sort of get into kind of a zen zone where I didn't get mad at anybody. I just would cruise along. And it would always used to crack me up when somebody would like be cutting in and out of lanes to try to get ahead, and he'd end up passing me 4 different times. He'd try to
Yeah.
get ahead, and then he'd end up behind me again, and then and
You
then he'd end up behind me again. It's like,
end
I
up
would
getting
stick to
stuck
one.
in the same light.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, shit. Get in here, God's Chuck. We gotta have some substance here.
Or style, either way.
Style. I don't know what up with our putt. I don't know if we'll ever see him again.
Well, I saw his little circle in the in our Facebook chat group.
Well, I at least sent him a link to the film so he can watch it. I mean, he's a principal character. He's got to watch it.
Yeah, that's a place in England where my dad lived about 110 years ago.
Isn't that a depressing? Isn't that? It just looks kind of depressing, doesn't it? This the gray and the buildings and kind of.
No, I dig it. It's got class.
I don't mean the building, just the scene. You know, it's like the pictures I took in Stockholm, they're all gray, and just kind of depressing, and there's not a lot of colors. I miss Deb. She was a good friend.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a phone on my Europe trip, so when I got to the wherever I was supposed to meet her, I look and there's Deb looking for me, just looking all around, all concerned, and then there I am. Like, she was so happy because I'd never been I never really. And I had seen like a Facebook post that I'd screenshotted from the trip, and she's like, Timmy's in Brighton. I'm so proud of him. He's been getting around so good around. It's like, hey, Steve Barini.
Nobody's driving the Starship. What's going on? What's going on?
Maybe it's being towed.
I've been phased out.
Ah.
I haven't replaced it with my call.
Lemon phased out.
Yeah. I have been phased out.
I'm still working on Terry's lemon transformation. I've just been doing so much stuff. So much stuff.
Stuff.
Oops.
And I did a little experiment over the last month or so. Not having coffee, or I went like 3 or 4 days without coffee. I actually didn't really get a headache, but after a while it dawned on me that I had some coffee, that I am really sluggish without coffee. I mean, even more than I normally am.
So you're sluggish when you went off the coffee for a few days?
Yep, because on Friday I rode my bike into work and I didn't have any coffee for a couple of days. And the ride into work is like, I'm struggling to go at like 8 miles an hour. And I get there. And then Saturday morning I had to have a pot of coffee and I'm flying to work. It's like, shit. Okay, I guess I do need coffee.
I'm mostly like decaf though.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's kind of like near beer or something.
Yeah.
I think the last,
Pretty much.
about the last year, I've been only having coffee when I have to make a 3D model, like a floor model at work, and do boring stuff, the tedious stuff. Because when I had the coffee and when I have my my booze on Friday and Sunday night, that the coffee and that dehydrates me, and then I'll get like canker sores.
Ooh.
I had one so bad like a year ago, I actually had to have the doctor get something for it. But then I found something on Amazon that was so good. If you get like a canker sore farming, you put it on and it'll be gone the next morning.
Wow. It's
really good. So I'm not as worried about that. So I can kind of have coffee a little more. Just gotta, I've got to be smart and drink a lot of water too.
Yeah.
I drink plenty of that.
Oh, there you go.
Coffee.
Yeah, Steve, that's
Water.
That's a house where my dad lived with his family about 110 years ago.
Which side?
I don't know. I think might have been the middle one. I don't know.
Looks kind of old time.
Well, his dad was old time.
Yeah, my dad was born in 1906, and this is, I think this was where my grandfather listed his residence as like in 1910 or some shit.
Well, it seems like you have the end house. You got a lot better deal. You got light, windows coming in the rooms,
Yeah. It's got those bumped out windows there, so that helps a little bit.
Yeah, I guess it does a little bit. Kind of like a bay window. My contractor likes my bay window so much, the one who put it in, he's wanting to get him one too.
Mm.
It is nice.
Yeah.
Put little flower pots in it and stuff.
Could be the flower pot man.
I listened to I went through all the fun hours this year, and the number one was the last one, and I played the flower pot man. I loved the flower pot man when I was doing like the first couple fun hours are the Alabama songs, the songs I used to listen to when I lived there. And the Flower Pot Man, I was really big on them. But the Flower Pot Men, if you listen to the Fun Hour, Terry explains it.
Oh,
It was a guy named John Carter, not that one, Tony,
Not
but
Mars.
he is basically a producer, and a guy named Tony Burrows did a lot of his vocal work. And basically, it was this producer. And it's like every time he had a new song, he had a different band name. It was like he had all these fictitious bands, basically. And the Flower Pot Men was one of them. It was just a producer band, and so was White Plains. My Baby Loves Lovin'. That was one of his. And he had another one called First Class Beach Baby. That was
Oh,
another
okay,
one.
that was him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was basically like an English Phil Spector and not as crazy.
Oh,
But he-
okay.
Uh,
Because Steve on his show this morning played. He was doing the number 100s and the Kirkle or the Cycle. Because I thought they were a one-hit wonder, but I guess they had more than one song on the Hot 100.
the Styroballs.
Say it again.
I believe it's
see
called
that-
pronounced circle. Cyrkle.
Oh, I thought you said the Styroballs. I played the Circle with the Y. I played them twice on the Fun Hour, but none of you would ever know because you don't listen to my Fun Hours.
Yeah.
Oh no!
But they had one. I mean, they're basically a one-hit wonder, but they had like a couple others, and I forget what their one hit was.
Oh, I hate the Rubber Balls song.
Yeah,
but
Red Rubber Balls. Yes.
But I hate that song. But there's a couple songs that were really good.
What
that
was
I
the
played
one,
on the
Steve,
Fun Hour.
this morning? The one, number 100, or do you remember?
I still have
That's-
still have my notes open for this. Where he was, we had a good thing going.
Oh,
Oh.
At
Look
I
up-
think number 72.
Well, I was going to say to look up a certain song from them, but if you actually listen to the Fun Hours, you'll hear it.
oh, okay.
In fact, I think Fun Hour 21, the last one I did,
Mhm.
which Steve never played, that one has it almost starts off with a Circle song. I think it's the first or second song.
Oh, okay. Because there are bands like that, like We Five, and You Were on My, and you get an album from it, and they have them on Apple Music. And the thing is, they have like the one hit, and then everything else just covers everything.
Yeah, there was some of that with, I guess, one hit wonders, and that song with "You Were on My," woke up this morning. That was probably a cover too. Who knows?
But their
Or
version,
not. What I don't know what I'm
hit.
talking about. I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, I don't,
But
I
yeah,
don't
I
think
think
I don't
it-
think they wrote songs. There was still that separation between songwriters and singers.
In fact, I would even venture to say that they probably weren't a real band. It was probably a producer band.
Really
But
possible.
then, you know what do I know? Look, listen to me. Don't listen to me because I don't know what I'm talking about.
I always thought a good theme for like a Big Bob show would be singers who were songwriters first and they had hits as a songwriter before they had hits as singers, like Carole King, like Neil Diamond, like Willie Nelson, and Bruce Springsteen. I think they all had hit songs that they wrote that they didn't sing yet because.
Oh, like Neil Diamond.
Yeah, because Neil Diamond wrote a couple of songs that the Monkees did, and of course Willie Nelson wrote "Crazy" for
Yeah, I
The
think
Gal
Neil
from
Diamond
the
and
Pieces.
Carole King, maybe Paul Simon, those people were like brill building
yeah
writers.
Carole King. I mean, she had a whole string of hits long before. I mean, 'cause she did cut a couple of records. I don't think she had any big hits until Tapestry.
Yeah, she did. She wrote that "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow."
Yeah. Oh, she wrote a
Um,
shit ton of them.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad she found her. I'm glad she was able to. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I perform her own songs finally and find a name for herself out
Yeah.
as an artist. And so, but I don't care. Why do I care? She looked like a cat lady on her cover,
Yeah.
and cats everywhere. Is that your childhood home in Kansas City, Steve?
Yep.
Cool.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oh, I like
like
that.
a-
Where it's like a hill on one side and the garage on the other side.
Almost every house in Kansas City is a split level like that.
That's actually a duplex.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see the open door on the left? That goes into the other side that lived on
Oh,
next
right.
to
I
it.
see two house numbers on it.
Yeah.
So did each one get one of the garages?
Yeah.
How
It's
did that
made-
work?
Well, right there, you see, you go in the front door. I'm on the house on the right, and you go in. Then down to see when you go up the steps right by the garages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you don't go up those steps and go around, go in. There's a little alcove there that goes next to the garage,
Oh.
and that goes into our garage, and you can still get in to the house from there.
Yeah.
So each person can access their garage without stepping on anyone else's toes.
Right, and
What about the room above the garage? How does that work?
well, that belongs to the house up next to us. So if we're working on a car, I guess the people upstairs would hear any pounding and shit.
Well, it makes sense because it would suck if that garage if the thing above the garage was, because then the people on the garage side wouldn't have much windows or room, it seems like. So
And what's cool about that is the porch that goes into both the front doors. Underneath that porch was our tornado shelter.
well, it appears to be a single resident house made into a duplex. It's a very odd configuration for that.
Well,
But
my
yeah,
dad
my-
often talked about wanting to buy it and make it into a big home, but he never did.
Huh. Well, the house I grew up in, Kansas City, was a split level as well. Well, Tony, you saw it. It's in the film.
Yeah.
I modeled that house inside and out. And it wasn't until later I looked on Zillow and there was a house that was the same model. It's like car models.
Right.
It's just the same. And they actually had a floor plan with all the measurements. I'm like, gosh damn it, I sure could have used that when I built that. It's okay. I think I did a pretty good job of it. But
Looking out. Yeah, let's see, my room used to be right there.
Yeah.
And we'd look out and there was nothing but woods and everything. Now there's a big mall sitting across the street from it.
I mean, across the street from the house?
Yeah. House is still there, but there's a big, there used to be an abandoned little shed or something in the woods there we'd go play in.
When was the house built? About 57, 54?
Oh, at least, yeah, 50s. I think it was built in the 50s. But we moved in 78.
Well, it's hard to tell then. I mean, yeah.
Was it really brick or was that like that brick siding?
Yeah, that is brick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brick's pretty common out there.
And after a while, I moved downstairs into a room. You see where the window I just pointed to?
Oh, yeah.
Right below it, this white part.
Right.
That's the basement there. My dad built a room down there for me.
Oh.
Nice. For you to do your Casey stuff?
Yeah.
That in 57, Ruskin Heights, which was one neighborhood over from where we lived, they had a monster tornado that killed like over 80 people. If you ever look up Ruskin Heights tornado, and it's just a whole neighborhood that's just gone. It's just,
I think I heard of that.
yeah. It started in Kansas. It was a big tornado, and it turned pink because it went through a orchard, like a flower orchard or a garden or something. And then it by the time it got to Ruskin Heights, it was just, I guess it was an F5 or whatever, and it just it was something else. Like there was a car on top of the water tower. It really I don't know. That was a little before my time, but they had none of the houses had basements. So when they rebuilt the neighborhood, they put basements in all the houses, I guess, and I guess that was such a big deal that it really changed the way houses were built after that.
Yeah.
And our house had a basement too, and we'd go down there, and I remember hearing the tornado sirens and all that kind of stuff.
I wish I could find the house I was even littler in when lived down on a farm in Kansas.
Next to Superman.
Yeah. I mean, that, we had, oh my God, so much fun in that house, I remember.
Oh, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can find a picture of my house.
I got this off of Google Maps just now, so it's
Ah,
it's actually a recent shot, and the house hasn't changed a bit.
yeah.
That's good. I mean, did you ever feel like buying it?
No, but a couple years before we moved out here, it was same place was for rent. We tried, and they wanted like 3 times what my dad was paying for back then. It was just kind of high pricey.
Yeah, that's inflation for you.
You see that my dad back in 1978 was paying $300 a month for that.
Oh, yeah.
That's dirt cheap for that.
No, back in the 60s and early 70s, my parents had a little rental house they rented out for $50 a month. Of course, this was out in the
50?
country. $50, yeah. And it worked out because he was paying his first wife $50 a month alimony.
Wow. I mean, I look at that house and I remember all of the stuff we did in that yard and the garage sale we had there and me walking around the yard playing my bagpipes and oh, wow.
Ah.
So that's mine, but that was the my rendering for the films. But it's basically that's it. But you can't see it from the angle, but it's split level as well.
Childhood home.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's on off of Blue Ridge Road.
Oh, okay. I've probably driven by it a little bit.
Yeah, I'll show you the not that.
You know, it's kind of funny that when I would live there, I didn't realize that was a little half bath on the upper floor.
You didn't know that when you lived there?
No, I knew it, but I didn't realize that it was added on like that. It just looked like a total afterthought.
Oh, yeah. We'll put the bathroom on the porch.
Well, no, the porch came later. My dad built that himself when he was in his 50s.
Is it still there?
No, they remodeled the crap out of that house.
Oh.
I mean, the house is still there, but it's been remodeled so much. And now I look at Google Street View and the roof is all screwed up. And I thought,
Oh, gee.
and because it sold about 8 or 9 years, about 8 or 9 years ago for almost $2 million. And I'm afraid somebody's going to tear it down and put a McMansion on there.
That's an aerial view, Tim?
Yeah, and my house is on the bottom street that's going horizontal. That's my road, and my house is the second to the left,
Ah,
and it butts up against that, the Enterprise, U.S. Enterprise.
Oh, that little big round thing.
Yeah, that's the big mid-century church behind. And I used to have,
That's still there because I remember that.
yeah, when I was a kid, I mean, I had full reign of that. And here's and that's moved over a little bit. If you go down the road and you go all the way over there, there's a cul-de-sac in the center right.
uh-huh.
And I used to just take my big wheel by myself and just go all the way out to the other cul-de-sac and visit a friend there. And nobody. I was 5 years old. Nobody even thought about it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You didn't worry about that kind of thing back there.
Yeah, I would just, even at night, I was all the way. You could see in the church, there's a little brown square on the lawn of the church on the top corner. That's the playground. And I'd be there at night. I'd be on the jungle gym at the playground playing at night. And I remember running excited, telling my mom, I was on top of the jungle gym and I could see the neon lights of the gas station and all this other stuff, on Bannister Road, and she's like, oh, that's great, instead of wringing my neck.
Yeah.
So you didn't live too far from Bannister then?
Yeah, we live pretty close to Bannister. We could probably have walked there if we really wanted. It would have been a long walk, maybe a half an hour walk, but we could have probably done it.
So you're around Blue Ridge Boulevard or Cutoff?
Boulevard.
Okay.
If trying to think of any other like landmarks. If you go the other way, up Blue Ridge, if you go east,
Mhm.
it wraps around, and then there's an intersection where there's McDonald's and a Hardee's and a bowling alley and that's and a Dairy Queen. We used to walk there all the time to walk to Dairy Queen and stuff. And there was a Texas Tom's and an A&W that looked like a volcano, like a rounded, like the round building with the
Mhm. I think
fireplace.
I remember that Texas Tom's. I remember that there on Blue Ridge.
Yeah, that's sort of, we live pretty near there. You can just walk there.
And what years were you there?
We moved away in like summer of '76 is when we,
Oh, okay. Well, that's way before. I was living in Olathe at the farmhouse in '76.
so we wouldn't have crossed paths at Kmart then.
Yeah. We moved this house in like '78. So
See, that's the uncropped version of that picture taken from
That's
our
beautiful.
neighbors.
That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
How much land did you have there?
I think it was like almost an acre.
Cool. Did you utilize that acre as a kid?
Oh, yeah. Well, my mom was into fruit trees. She always loved fruit trees and stuff. So there was a big area there and a lot of dirt to play in with my Tonka trucks.
That's a beautiful mountainous area or hilly
Oh, yeah.
area. It's not mountain.
Well, that was the thing. It was a modest little house, not, it's a little 2-bedroom,
Mhm.
but on a fucking gorgeous lot.
Mhm.
And you can kind of see it at the bottom towards towards your left as you're looking at it. You see those little circles? Those were concrete, basically picnic tables.
Okay.
And we got a giant oak tree there. I don't know why the hell we moved away.
I know. I look at this house and I'm like, why the hell did we move away? Oh, because the landlord passed away and his kids wanted to sell the house. That's what it was.
Wish they'd sell the one next door. But yeah, they
Well, that was our childhood home segment.
yeah, I sure wish I could have, because mine went up for sale. I could have sold this place and moved into that one and probably made a profit. But
Yeah.
I don't really have a desire to live in the city anymore. Or
Yeah.
I've got my place. I've been working hard on it. Here.
Well, it's the same with this house there that you're seeing is it was a 2-lane little quiet road, and now they put that mall in. There's a 4-lane busy road now. So
That and a lot of Kansas City, it's not the same demographic as it was in the '70s.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah,
but there's always the memories, and it was fun making the house in 3D, so it still exists now. Just like Judy's, the Pruitt house exists in 3D, and I can still put them in the movies and stuff.
that's kind of cool. I look at this house and I remember the 3 bachelors that lived on the other side of this.
Ooh,
My sister had a thing for one of them.
did they like girls?
Yeah, they did. They tried to hook him out, but
It sounds like they were probably noisy, but 3
well,
guys.
they were actually pretty quiet for 3 young bachelors.
Really?
Yeah, but after a while, one of them got married, and so the 2 others decided to move out and let him and his new wife have this apartment or this home.
That's when all the fights start and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
We lived in a townhouse in Colorado, and there were a couple gay women that lived in the one next to us. And I think I only talked to one of them once, and she was really nice.
Mm.
Something about her bicycle. I said her bicycle was nice. She's a nice lady, and they were pretty quiet, other than hearing them doing things through the vents.
Oh, hearing certain things.
Certain things, yeah, moans,
Oh, I can-
different things,
Oh.
and I was 10, so I didn't know
Yes.
exactly what was going on, but I kind of knew something going on that probably shouldn't.
10 years old, we knew what was going on.
Oh, hey, man, I didn't know anything.
I did, and I asked my mom a little bit about birds and the bees. I'm like, so what does he pee in you, or does she's like, no?
Is he peeing you?
What? I didn't know.
Steve,
We didn't have the
that's
sex channel. We
Yeah.
didn't have cable. There wasn't cable back then.
Oh,
Well,
I am
there
so
was HBO.
glad that there was no internet when I was 13 and 14. I would have just exploded.
Or the what you needed was the Joy of Sex pop-up book is what you needed then.
Yeah, that would have helped.
So, Steve, that's Tampa. Behind me.
Back in the 50s.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like it.
All right.
Good to find out what corner that is and go see it.
Maple and Pleasant.
I
Maple,
think I
Pleasant.
submitted for a festival that was around Clearwater.
Ah.
Tampa.
So I wonder if so we know that the Tampa Festival doesn't seem to have much in celebrities, but I wonder if our friend Wendy has checked the Fanboy Expo in Orlando, if that's going to happen, because that's where all of our Barbara Eden and Three's Company were and all that.
Yeah, but didn't that just happen?
It was last September, and September will be coming up in like 4 months, man.
Oh, well. We'll look that up, Fanboy, because
Years would go by so quick. Part of why it's been going by is because I had to finish that film, so time, of course, is raced. I at least finished it in time where I could. There were a lot of fall festivals I was still eligible for.
I
don't know why I'm even doing this.
Okay, it says September 26th to 28th, 2025. Let's see what guest. Oh, good. All right. Oh, Gene Simmons, Kiss. Oh, God. Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, someone must have said this already, because those are two. We've talked about this.
Sean Astin, Corey Feldman.
I saw Sean Astin once. He was driving a Dodge Durango.
Who's Sean Astin?
Oh, he
Sean
was in
Astin.
he was in Lord of the Rings. He was.
Did you see 50 First Dates?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
He played her sister, her brother.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Sometimes when I hear like Sean Astin, I'm thinking of Anson Williams for some reason. Like they already did the Happy Days people.
Oh, good. They have a Dallas cast reunion.
Oh, cool.
Great.
But they're all
It doesn't sound like it's as going to be an interesting a fest as it was last year. I guess last year was like lightning in a bottle, I guess.
Detroit Rock City reunion.
Look at this dude. His suit weighs more than he does.
Special guest Michael Bean, Bruce Kulick. I don't recognize. That's it. There's not really any big
Michael
names.
Bean, nobody knows who he is, but he's been in everything. He's like in every action movie.
Oh, yeah, I see him. Let's see. It says he's been known for roles in Terminator, Aliens, The Abyss, Tombstone, The Rock, and more recently.
All I can say is if we do go there, we've got to find out if it's in that same venue, we got to find out what side it's on.
Oh, yeah.
Because we parked on the wrong end of the building. And like I said this before, that place is like a small town.
Mhm.
And it seemed like it took us 25 minutes to walk from our parking lot to where the venue. And as a robot, that's a long 25 minutes. It just, the place just went on and on and on. It had to go up and down escalators, and the elevators didn't work. And it's just like, shit, next time we're going to park on the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see there's any decent guests coming there or the Atlanta or.
Yeah, I didn't see any yet.
Mhm.
Corey Feldman, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's kind of
I mean, he
my
was still
generation
around.
was what?
Oh, good. Keep going.
My generation was kind of a bit of a sleeper generation. We didn't. I mean, we were the Brat Pat's younger siblings, and we didn't really get much. Really, we had the two Coreys. We had maybe like Debbie Gibson and some people, but we didn't really get a chance to shine. But now my generation, are big now, like in politics and stuff. It's like everybody who's anybody, Elon and just basically, other than Pam Bondi, she's more like Gracie's age, but everybody else is pretty much my age. They're around there, born early 70s. But so now we finally found our own, but it's the people are older, if that makes any sense.
Well, yeah.
In other words, we really didn't have we didn't have a big teeny bopper crowd. Because I'm trying to think, in around 89 or 90, there weren't a lot of teeny bopper shows other than the Quarry movies.
Yeah, because I think all the John Hughes stuff was more my generation.
Yeah.
So I think Molly Ringwald and all those people are about my age. But you're talking about a Dallas reunion. Who the hell is still alive? I mean, it's like, the major ones, Patrick Duffy, I guess.
Patrick Duffy was going to be at Pensacon, the last one I went to, and he canceled.
Yeah.
Same with shit. What was the Mamas and Papas girl?
Michelle Phillips?
No, One Day at a Time.
Mackenzie Phillips.
Oh,
Mackenzie Phillips. Yeah, she was supposed to be there too and canceled.
Yeah, she said,
I
"Do you know
probably
who
would've
I
liked-
am?" And they said no.
Yeah.
I don't know who the names are here, but Patrick Duffy is there. And let's see. She looks like, that young blonde girl who was on there. Charlene.
Oh, Charlene Tilton. She got big, didn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, she's always kind of a little.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
Pleasantly
Patrick
plump.
Duffy, Linda Gray,
Oh, my
Charlene
God.
Tilton, and Steve Connolly.
Is Linda Evans still around?
I don't know. This is Linda Gray. I don't know.
I mean, I haven't heard of Linda Evans in a long time.
I don't know.
Yeah, she might have gotten out of the business.
Linda Evans.
I used to thought she was a good-looking older woman
Oh, yeah.
back in the day.
She's still alive.
Huh.
She's 82.
Yeah.
Wow.
it's-
I saw something that Steve Winwood's 77, and he was like the baby of the boomer rock generation, pretty
Right,
much.
because
So-
he wasn't even he had kind of a second career in the '80s, and he still wasn't all that old because he was only like 16 when he was in his first band.
Right. So by the 80s, he still looked really young.
Yeah.
He might have been 30s. Gottschalk said Katie Sackov is going to be at the Ocala
Sack.
Comic Con. I don't know who she is.
Katie Sack of what?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know Ocala was having one, and I didn't know who she was.
The
I'm
name sort
gonna
of
go
semi
to at
rings
least
a
one this year. I'm going to go to one because I want to go with you and Gottschalk, and I want to dress up again. But
Yeah.
but like I said, you got to go to them not thinking about the celebrities. You just got to go to have fun and cosplay. Are you going to do your hoodoo, Steve? Come on.
I'm hoping.
Well, you hope
because Wesley's going to be doing a Comic Con in Burbank, and that's is it Burbank or Pasadena? I think Pasadena.
You going to go there and see him, Tony?
Yeah, I'm going to ride my bike 50 miles.
Have Steve Uber you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Hey, Steve. So we never got to hear back from our Wesley friend, huh?
No, not yet.
I wonder if. I don't know.
It's cool.
I was wondering if maybe his other has a problem with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But see if we can get Stanley. I don't know why I can't say his name.
Stanley
Stanley
Livingston.
Livingston back because I want to talk
Yeah.
aviation with him.
I'm even looking at the guest list for Pensacon, even though I'm not going, but I just got curious.
Yeah.
There's nobody there. Oh, Larry Wilcox, but
I tried to Facebook friend him and he's got that TDS
Mm.
and he didn't accept my friend request, so I don't really have any desire to see him. I mean, I liked John, his character John. When I was growing up, I liked him better than Ponch, but Ponch in real life is a much nicer person than Larry Wilcox.
Oh, Eric Estrada is going to be there again too.
Yeah.
I would like to see Eric again, but I wouldn't go all the way there to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a long
See,
way.
he actually
Oh.
knows how to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, because when I was at Dragon Con, he was on a big chopper in the parade right behind me. He was the next position behind me. So that's the first time I ever saw him because, I was the Draconian, and all of a sudden people start cheering, and I look behind me, and he's on the chopper, and he winks at me. Smiles and winks. Total Eric. He's pretty cool. And I saw him probably 2 or 3 times after that, and he always gave me a smile and said hi. But when we met him a couple years ago at Pensacon, he was the tops. Funny guy.
Yeah.
What is Detroit Rock City?
It was about there's a movie that took place in like 76,
Mhm.
and it was about these kids that basically went on a road trip to see Kiss. They were their idols, and it was kind of a coming of age. It wasn't like dirty like Porky's, but it was still pretty crass. Teenagers getting into a lot of trouble.
Well, I know that in the song Detroit Rock City at the end, it's like the car crashes. I hope that didn't happen in the story.
Well, there was some road rage. Some people in a Trans Am, older guy, jocks with their cheerleader people, and they, I think they threw a pizza. No, I think that the guys, I guess the guys that were the main guys, something happened. He threw a pizza out the window, and it landed on the windshield of the Trans Am, and so there was a road rage scene, and only thing I can remember is they were parked along the side of the road, and while the guy was about to kick their ass or whatever, I think one of them put his Trans Am into gear, and it rolled off into the off the road and into the forest or something.
Yeah.
That's all I can. I don't remember a lot of it, but I do remember something about that.
Well, I don't see anything on the cons that warrant spending money on them.
And I do remember that they. It doesn't matter. It's a dumb movie. I'm going to go over the damn movie. This isn't Allie's
You're not reading off of
3-hour trailer. Yeah, Wikipedia. No. I hadn't
Love
seen
you,
it
Allie,
since-
if you're watching.
Yeah, we love you, Allie. I hadn't seen it since the 90s. So those are just, I'm trying to pick my brain, trying to think of things. It's an interesting movie if you like seeing boys.
Steve loves the boys.
My mom loved boys. She loved any kind of movie with boys, like Stand By Me, just any kind of thing where there were boys going out and scouting. She was really a tomboy at heart. She always bought men's jeans. She always bought men's bicycles.
Did you watch the Hardy Boys?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Or how about the Lost Boys?
I don't think so.
I
I'm
saw
trying to
this
think if I
Lost
ever saw
Boys.
Stand By Me. I think I eventually did years after it came out.
Yeah, so do I. But Will Wheaton, even
I
with
saw
today,
it.
Will Wheaton's a dick.
It's not something I don't know who Will Wheaton was. Was he the one with the?
What? Oh, he Wesley
The fat
from
one?
Shut up, Wesley. Yeah, Wesley Crusher. But he was in Stand By Me.
He was a fat kid.
No, he was a skinny, dorky looking kid.
I'm trying to admit, because Corey Feldman was the nerdy one with the glasses, I think,
Yeah.
and then River Phoenix was kind of the cool kid of them.
Mhm.
That's
I don't know. I
the one
shouldn't say that Will Wheaton's a dick. It's just that's the image, the vibe I get off of him.
Well, you can't go by that.
You know, it's,
Well, no,
I
he's done,
think it's
he's
because
done talk shows and interview shows, and he's just a
He just
smarmy
looks-
little goof.
Well, yeah, you can go by that.
he has these certain steps you got to go through just to email him, and it's like you're not the fucking president for Pete's sake.
Oh, I can understand that. Yeah, that's got to go through somebody's agent and all this. That's kind of silly.
And he sits there on But when all these Star Trek Picards was going on, he would do something called the Ready Room, where he was hosting a show he'd interview, and he would just be, "I am so glad I was part of this Star Trek world. You have no idea." Grow up.
Oh my gosh, that's got to get old.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?
He's not part of the Star Trek world. He was on some show that called itself Star Trek. The only people that are part of the Star Trek world are the ones from the 60s Star Trek.
Well, he left the Next Generation in the 4th season because he wanted to go on to better things. Now, all of a sudden, that Star Trek is the best thing's ever happened to him.
Oh, Tony's granting my wish by showing intermission art.
Oh, let's all go to the lobby.
Yeah, the from the drive-ins. I think drive-ins. So it's not lobby, let's go to the concession stand.
Oh, yeah, the concession stand.
Hello, Fidesco.
Hey, Videsco.
See the line, Fidesco. Oh, we're going to get a copyright strike.
No, they don't copyright strike.
Not that good, Steve. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Oh, that reminds me. I tried singing, recording There's a Place in the World for a Gambler the other day. It's by Dan Fogelberg. If you don't know. And oh my God, when I was recording, it sounded good, and I played it back. I'm like, gong! I just deleted the whole fucking thing.
Sometimes that's best.
Uh,
I stubbed my big toe in January,
ouch.
and I really wish the toenail would have just fallen off,
Ugh.
but it didn't. So now it's just been bruised for like 5 months now.
Uh-huh.
It's getting old. I could paint them like pink with nail polish, I guess.
Oh, that would be sweet.
So
I should say that because a lot of people will paint their toenails. And
yeah, there you go. But the house
called
across
goth.
the street from us here, that's right on the train tracks. It's up for sale. It's only $780,000.
What was that all?
3 and 2, 1,300 square foot. And the 1,365 square foot, I think the lot is like 1,385 square feet. Oh, no, it says a 5,000 square foot lot, which I don't know.
Remember when all of us and Molly, we were gonna buy that old hotel on Salton Sea?
Yeah.
Just all live at the hotel and do our show there
And
together.
I wanted to call it Pepperland, but nobody got the joke.
I guess I missed that part. I guess.
Yeah.
You know what the Salton Sea is, Steve?
The who?
The Salton Sea.
No.
It's in California, like almost in Mexico, and it's like this. In the 50s, they tried to make this lake. I don't know if it's a man-made lake, but they tried to make it a resort, and it was going to be like Rat Pack. It was going to be real swank, and so they built these neat mid-century hotels on it and stuff. But the salt content was so rich in that lake that there was no life. No fish could live there or anything. So it's just always had a stench. But but people still live there, and sometimes you can see like little documentaries and these like salt compounds like build up, like rock formations, and there's mud pools there. So that was kind of the seller for me. It's like mud pools. But yeah, there was a hotel for sale, and we were gonna all buy the hotel together.
No, that'd be.
Yeah. It was an interesting idea. I don't think I'd want to live in California, but it was kind of a neat process. It was a neat fantasy for a little while.
It'd be interesting because you can like take several rooms and make them into each apartment or something.
Yeah, we would have had our own suites, I guess, and then we would have had like a commons where we did our wrong channel show or whatever we were going to do. It would have been fun. It would have been like a real wrong channel show, although I'd have had to be a cartoon somehow. But could have figured that out.
Yeah, we'd. I don't know.
Did I describe it pretty good, Tony?
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to buy one of those old motel. I mean, not ones that are falling apart, but buy one of those old motels and reopen them. But there's probably a reason that they closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I got
No
really
business.
rich, I'd get the ones that are like cabins that have kitchenettes in them.
Oh, those would be nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever stay at that famous hotel that the teepees?
No,
hotel.
I've seen those. Where's
Yeah.
those at?
I read about them though that when you're inside them, they're just like a room. They're not they don't look like a teepee on the inside or
Well, I think they're
something.
Oh, so it's just
round, so you kind of get that, but they don't
yeah.
like have authentic
Oh,
Indian furniture or whatever. But
So
speaking
where
of
do those
Indians, the guy
at?
one of those is owned by an Indian guy now, so that's wonderful and great.
But the Indian guy that was in the trash commercial.
No, the other kind of Indian.
oh, the dot head type. Oh. There are so many film festivals in I mean, no, I know they're big on movies, but oh my gosh, they've got a lot of film festivals there. Enough to where it just kind of makes me kind of like roll my eyes.
Yeah.
Like another one. At least they're not very expensive. I entered a couple that were free.
Ah.
And some of them, I think some of them actually, I think, have seen my movie or at least saw enough of it where they it had guaranteed that I would be selected.
Ah.
So yeah, that does. But Steve, I was telling Tony earlier, just because I get selected into a film festival doesn't mean it's going to screen. They screen the winners, is how it goes.
Oh, I see.
They have judge panels, so they could select mine. That means I can use their laurel on my website and stuff, and I'm officially in their festival. But they have usually a judge selection that finds the best movies, but even then, that's not always because the Colorado one, I didn't win anything, but they showed my whole film there out on. So I don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind. I did this before. I did this beginning of the show, and it's still I still didn't. I don't know what I'm doing. Gosh, Chuck, where are you? Gosh, Chuck, take me away. What the? He missed it.
What?
Oh, he missed it. It's
did I do?
behind Tony.
What the?
Yeah, then basically. Oh, maybe it'll repeat. I don't know.
Easy to eat, yeah.
What did I do? But I missed something.
There,
There,
that.
there.
Look up.
Look.
Look at the screen. You missed
Damn it. But it's Steve, if someone points, then you
You
look at
fucking
their
looked
finger.
away just when I told you to look at the screen.
Well, I thought you meant the live feed because I picked up my phone.
Well, I mean, okay, that would have worked too, but actually, you'd see it right now on the live feed, which is on the roof apparently. I don't know. Oh, there's almost got. Hey, and he's Frankenberry. Oh boy! Up! Must be an earthquake.
Yeah.
Big duck to dawn show.
I don't know what we were hooping and hollering about, so I guess I missed it.
No, you were.
Maybe, if it reruns and we say to look at it, Steve, that means look at Tony, behind Tony.
Wait, how did Tony just move? Why are people moving around on my screen?
Because Tony's got the ball here.
Yeah.
He likes to arrange us.
Well, I just like to be
Now-
over on that side because I'm sort of sitting on that side so I can see what's going on.
What you
So
got
now-
going on, Gotcha?
Not much.
I like that all of your shirts have that Star Trek logo on them.
Yeah, I bought it. These are like the absolute most comfortable T-shirts I think I've ever owned in my life. And
Oh, are they
I-
that kind of that stretchy, soft stuff?
Yeah, they're really,
Isn't that nice? I get like
Yes.
underwear like that sometimes. And what else? Oh, I got for winter I had a pair of long johns that were like that kind of stretch. Oh, they're nice. It's like you feel loved.
I had a
yeah,
jock strap like that once.
Huh?
yeah.
Yeah, it was really
And
comfortable.
it didn't stretch far enough, did it, Steve? So you had to
Stretch it all.
Well, you're supposed to wipe before you put them on.
Oh, is that what that was?
See, I can't have a T-shirt without a shirt pocket because I've got to have something there, whether it's my phone or my pen or whatever the hell.
So what's happening in everybody else's life there? I mean, I was kind of listening on and off, obviously, by my chat.
Oh, I'm just trying to get this house in order and the property before Darren gets here. So
Which Darren, the first Darren or the second one?
I hope the
Darn.
second one. Otherwise, we're just going to fight all the time.
Is he staying with you or what?
Oh, he might for a couple days, or I don't know. It depends on what his house situation is. But no, he's buying a house out here. But when you move from one house to another, you might have to have a
Yeah.
transition. But Yeah, I don't want the place. I mean, it doesn't look like a slum, but you know,
Gotta watch those
I
transitions.
basically put off probably 3 years of work on this house trying to get this film done. So now I'm trying to catch up on all the work.
Well, it's like my place here. I've put off 3 years of work because I was just sitting on my butt.
Well, the monkey bars were a whim. That only came to me like a couple months ago.
Oh, dang.
You know, I tried to change the subject. I tried one of those Acme black holes and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I tried putting it on the porch out here. I tried jumping in and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Actually, it's called a portable hole, Steve.
Portable?
Gottschalk would know that, being in Dungeons and Dragons, because they had portable.
But they were
holes.
testing a self-driving car nonsense, and they put up like a picture of a road or something like that, and the car didn't know how to run into it or whatever the hell. It was like a Roadrunner situation.
Oh, I heard that guy was pretty much scamming, though.
So's everybody.
Those self-driving cars are all over Phoenix.
Really? I heard they weren't that great, you know, but they aren't safe.
They're using them like nobody's business in Phoenix area.
I don't think that's right. You need that
How about a tasty
human
sock?
element.
Why does
Yeah,
it
I
say,
don't-
how about a tasty sock?
Yeah.
And now they're using the self-driving semi trucks.
Oh, that's
gee.
fun. Oh, Steve. Well, how do you feel about one semi-truck trying to pass the other?
Well, it depends on if they're both swift.
Well,
No,
one of
they're
them's
not
not going to
too
be
swift.
swift. We don't want them both to be swift. We want
One
one to be
semi-truck-
slow and the other to be swift.
When one
Otherwise, it's
semi truck passes another one, one's doing 55 and the other one's doing 55 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it always is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hate
Let you
that.
get one of them super truckers who's got it 80 miles locked down.
Or
I
the
always
trucker who's
picture
got.
them, they're like got a monkey in one of them, and they're like
Oh, yeah.
doing the horn thing with the other trucker, and they're like doing kissy. faces
What
and
I love
stuff
are the
at each
guys who
other.
put 84,000 lights on their cab.
Oh, yeah. What is up with that? I see that going down the road. I'm like, dude.
And then
Like a fucking
the
rolling
2-foot
whorehouse.
long spikes on the damn lug nuts.
Oh, yeah.
I think that shouldn't be legal.
There should be, and I've seen these cars that have all these different lights that are lit up underneath purple or green or something, and then they're
The guy
it's like a whorehouse on wheels, if you ask me.
Yeah, but at least that doesn't. At least that's not like the spikes where it could tear the hell out of a pedestrian.
Now
or
I
something,
assume
or-
those spikes are like plastic and they would break off if they touched
They
it.
are.
It
They're,
doesn't
they're
matter
really,
when they're going at like 4,000 RPM.
yeah, but they really are. They're really cheap plastic things.
It doesn't matter. 40,000 or 4,000 RPM. Those things are spinning. It doesn't matter if they're plastic.
Yeah. But I never put them on my truck.
And who's gonna never mind. I don't want to get mad.
Vicky was talking to me about the truck nuts. That's what she thought I was talking about.
Oh, they made truck. I thought they made truck nuts illegal. The Baptists here years ago.
It is illegal in most places now. I know it's in Florida.
Like, they don't hurt anybody.
I know. It's obscene.
If I was a
What
truck,
about
I'd be
the chrome-
embarrassed
what
if
about the
someone
chrome,
took out my nuts.
How about the chrome naked ladies on the mud flaps?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay, but you can't have truck nuts.
I don't get it. Boy, there was a
One's pretty and one's disgusting, Steve.
There was a trailer. Well, what if they're chrome truck nuts?
Hmm.
There was a.
What would you rather look at, Timmy?
Well, I mean, the truck nuts are on there because it's supposed to show that the truck has balls to get up and move. That's what the whole point of that was, I think.
Yeah, it's just a joke. You're not supposed to be sexual, for God's sake.
It's not, yeah.
It's no difference
Almost
like a
anything.
bull's balls or something like that.
Yeah, when I
You don't look
first-
at bull's balls for sexual. I don't look at mud flaps or anything for a sexual high.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see truck nuts and go, baby. You know, I didn't.
Well, I didn't do
This
that with
guy,
mud
look
flaps
at
either.
this guy. He's got, that is like a gas powered heater hooked over. That's what you want. It's like a propane burns-o-matic. I love that name, burns-o-matic. It automatically burns you. And oh, look at, oh my God.
I was more interested in why he had a mannequin for a girlfriend or wife.
Well,
than past
You got to ask Steve about that. But
I
man,
was
you would
wondering
have
why he had
a
the kids in there and
propane
wanted to see
heater in the
both.
window of your car. Oh my God.
So
Well,
tell
wonder
me,
why-
guys, Chuck, what is your favorite cereal behind you?
Oh
Or does it
shit!
depend on the day?
It depends on the day. I used to like. I mean, we would buy single boxes of cereal, but my parents, when they bought things, they would buy those variety pack boxes. You know, where you had
Yeah.
the little box of different
Those are
kinds.
good. Yeah.
But you could tell which ones were the favorite of the kids because they were the first ones gone.
Oh, of course.
And you don't have mine up there, my favorite. Mine's Captain Crunch. I love that. Your Captain
I can
Crunch.
tell you.
Now, did
I
you
can-
ever actually open those mini cereal boxes on the side that had the perforations where you could
A couple
fold it
times,
open and then pour milk in it? And
a couple
I
times,
never-
a couple times just to do it.
just to see if it could actually work.
I don't drink milk with my cereal. So
I know.
no.
I know.
I can tell you the one. I can tell you two of them that I don't like. There, that's an easier one to go. Can't stand cinnamon toast crunch.
Yeah, I don't like it.
That's the nastiest stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I see a Kix next to it. I never understood that. It's not a kid's cereal. If you want to market it as an adult boring cereal, fine, go for it.
Yeah.
Don't market that shit.
Well, the
as
one
a
I
kid's
never
cereal.
had that I could never understand was something wheats. The one that's one.
Frosted mini wheats.
No, not mini wheats. Back the big ones. There's one
Oh, shredded wheat.
shredded wheat. That's it.
Shredded wheat,
One. It was like a pillow
A pillow,
of
yeah.
wheat, and one of them would fill a bowl, and then you had to
Isn't
like
that crazy? Yeah.
bust the shit out of it with your spoon or something and try and
Well,
so you
listen,
could get to the point where you eat it.
This isn't the frosted mini, not the mini wheats, but the frosted wheats. Didn't it come in a big block? And the whole concept was you were supposed to crunch it up.
I
in your
guess you're
bowl or
supposed to
something?
bust it up, but you see them in the commercials. They would just take the whole pillow basically and just throw it in the bowl. There it is.
Because I remember asking Darren when I was a kid, I'm like, because the mini wheats are pretty damn big, and I remember saying, "Why do they call these mini wheats?" And he's like, "Oh, you should see what the regular wheats, how big they." I guess that's how he talks. I don't know. It's
Really?
been a while.
And then I haven't tried like the Blueberry and Count Chocula. Ever tried those?
Really?
Yeah.
Those are classics. Now, don't try them because in the 70s they were great, and in the 80s they were great. But somehow the corn industry just said, "Hey, don't make them with oats anymore. Make them with this fake corn shit that we grow with chemicals and
Well,
stuff."
in the late '80s, early '90s, they started adding that high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, all that crap.
and
They don't,
everything.
because I got excited and I saw, they got Blueberry and Frankie Berry and Chocula at Walmart at the same. So I bought all three of them, and I couldn't wait to get through them. I'm just like, this shit.
Do you remember what the fourth? Do you remember what the fourth one was, Timmy?
Yeah, Fruit Boot, but we didn't
Fruit
get
Boot.
those. I don't think I've never seen one.
What was it? Fruit Loop?
Fruit
No.
Root.
Fruit Brute.
Brute.
It was a werewolf.
Brute.
Oh,
Yeah.
werewolf.
Oh.
Now what voice? Because I remember Frankenberry was basically.
Wasn't he
I
like
start
this?
talking and then the name just goes right out of my
Bela
fucking
Lugosi?
head.
The Bella
No,
Lugosi, like,
the other one.
that's Count Chocula.
Yeah, the
He
Count
kind
Chocula.
of talks like this, doesn't he?
Yeah, from the Grinch.
Boris Karloff.
Karloff. Yeah. So Frankenberry was Karloff. Count Chocula was
Dracula.
Boris thing, and Blueberry was Peter Lorre.
Oh, the Blueberry.
Now, of course, they weren't the
did you
real
ever-
people,
did you ever
but
have
they
Fruit
were.
Brute?
No, I never had it.
Gus Shot?
What's that?
Did you ever have Fruit Brute?
We had a box of it one time. That's the only reason why I know it existed.
Where did you get it?
I think we got it at the commissary on army base where we lived at.
Because I've only seen them on the internet. I've never seen them in real life. Was it good?
It came. I don't remember enough. From what I can remember, it reminded me of Fruity Pebbles. Just
I like Fruity Pebbles.
You're eating my
Do you remember there was
purples?
always this weird cereal box in the 80s on the cereal aisle. It was King Vitamin, and they actually had a real man as the mascot, or like dressed as a king.
and it wasn't
Remember?
Vitamin, it was Vitaman.
Vitaman. I just thought it was interesting that it was a real person instead of a cartoon.
Yeah.
And
But
I
you
don't know
called
if I ever
that
had it, though.
You call that fruit what?
Brute. Brute.
Brute.
I
Okay,
think I
brute.
Brute.
I have three cereals that I like the best. One of them was Sugar Smacks. Remember those?
Oh,
Yeah.
I used to love
Oh,
those. Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Sugar Smacks, Lucky Charms,
Mhm.
and Raisin Bran. Love
Oh,
Raisin
I
yeah,
Bran.
still love
yeah,
you.
Raisin
I
Bran.
still do Raisin Bran.
Let's
That's
see,
high in
my,
fiber. That'll make you
I-
go.
my favorite, two of my favorites are defunct now. One was buckwheats. Loved those. The other was triples. It's General Mills put it out in the late 80s. It was like three different kinds of rice. Like
Mm.
Don't
I had a
remember that
brown
one.
rice in it, and they were so good. And then the third was honeycomb, which they still make,
Honeycomb.
but they're not near as big as they used to be.
Honeycomb.
Honeycomb small. These years later,
Honeycomb.
he used to be big.
Yes, triple cereal had crispy corn, crispy rice, and crispy wheat.
Ah, good.
Yeah, they
You
were. They all looked like little rice things, but boy,
You know,
they were good.
the last time I had honeycomb, it had a hank of hair and a piece of bone in it.
That's disgusting. I'll be right back.
Hank of hair, a piece of bone.
That's disgusting. I'll be right back.
Can I play
No.
my favorite cereal?
Absolutely.
I'll let here. Listen, this is my favorite cereal.
Barney, you're eating my pebbles? And Hoppy, too?
No, we're not, Fred. We're just having a bowl of cereal.
Now I don't remember. I remember when the Flintstones was an evening show when it was first run back in the '60s. I don't remember them doing cigarette commercials though. I think that was kind of came what really early
I think I had that commercial too.
because it wasn't really a kiddie show. It was like a primetime evening thing. So it was for the whole family and all that crap. Because a lot of the jokes would have gone over the heads of a of a kid. Like I never knew that the line in the theme was a modern Stone Age family. I could never figure out what the hell they were saying.
Modern.
I actually put that one commercial in our film projects thing for Steve.
Ah,
You know, the song classic sung like, slasher movies, I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see that.
There's a video. I mean, it looked like everybody looked at it except for Putt. It was like one of those 1980, K-Tel, now the best songs of, 19, and it's like, why did you burn me to death? And
Oh,
come to the Bates Motel.
the thing is, I always get sugar smacks and sugar pops kind of mixed up. Now,
I think it was kind of the same thing, weren't they?
well, one of them, the mascot was Sugar Bear, and the guy was doing a Dean Martin impression.
And the other one was a frog.
Yeah. But when I was a kid, it wasn't Frosted Flakes. It was sugar Frosted Flakes. It wasn't Smacks. It was Sugar Smacks. It was Sugar Pops and Sugar and.
I ate a lot of them. I mean, I liked, Captain Crunch was okay, but I didn't really like it.
I loved it.
I mean, it was all right, but Fruity Pebbles. What I didn't like about Fruity Pebbles is after about 2 minutes of sitting in the milk, it all kind of blended together, and then you got this like big blob of goo or some shit, that was.
Apple Jacks did that in my mouth. It made a paste. And I liked Captain Crunch when I'd watch the Smurfs before the sun would even come up, and I'd have my Captain Crunch because I ate everything dry. So I would save all the Crunch Berries for last because they were my favorite. And then later they just took all the fun away, and they just have a whole box of Crunch Berries, and it's just like it doesn't matter anymore. You know what else was really good? Like around 1980. And if you blink, you missed it. But it was something I really liked was, I think they're called Moonstones. And they were like these little
They were
rocket
kind of like
ships.
Lucky Charms.
Were they? They were kind of like little rocket ships and things. I just remember
they also had different colored marshmallows and stuff in them.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
Help the mentally handicapped.
The other one I kind of liked, I kind of liked all of them, just not. I'm looking at Moonstones. It came out It was out in 1976. Yeah.
All right. I found that Flintstone cigarette commercial.
Uh-huh.
You ready?
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot more.
Oh, okay. That was Machine Gun.
They sure work hard, don't they, Barney? Yeah? I hate to see them work so hard. Yeah, me too. Let's go around back where we can't see them. Gee, we ought to do something, Fred. Okay. How's about taking a nap? Hey, I got a better idea. Let's take a Winston break. That's it. Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack. Winston's got that filter blend. Yeah, Fred.
So Barney's the one that got that peer pressure. He's the one that got Fred on that shit.
Yeah. And
You guys
that was
remember
milk.
this cereal? Do you guys remember the frosted donut cereal? It was supposed to be like, it was like, they looked like Cheerios, but they
Yeah.
were like frosted.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, what
I
were
thought
those called?
I thought that
Good.
was just a John Belushi fake commercial.
Damn, gosh, I hadn't thought about those, but they were good. What were they?
But that was funny, Steve. Thank you. That
Oh, yes.
the Flintstones doing a cigarette commercial.
Yeah, they're funny.
Well, they kind of were an adult cartoon, weren't they?
Yeah, because this was supposed to be kind of a takeoff of the Honeymooners, I thought.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It
Oh,
wa-
yeah.
it was. Yeah.
You know what's really an adult cartoon? I mean, the kids watch it. I mean, it's today. That Bluey Bluey.
Oh,
That's
God.
Australian, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Australian, but boy, I mean, some of the references and some of the jokes they make in there are purely adult. I mean, it's like,
Oh yeah, well, it's the same as like SpongeBob. They want to put jokes in there for the parents to laugh, so they don't die of boredom.
I know, right?
Well, you know, I introduced my grandson to the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner show. He was okay for a minute, but then it got boring for him because I don't know. I
Because it
don't
was more than 30 seconds long.
I guess.
Okay, a couple more cereals from the 80s, early 80s.
oh, I'm looking here. They have one called
Okay,
Green-
there was one that were like blueberry waffle cereals.
Yuck.
It was good.
I got that one right. It's right sitting right here. They were called Waffalos.
Okay.
Waffle.
Blueberry Waffalos.
And then there was one more called OJ's, and they were it was before all
They
that
have
crap.
those little knives.
Oh, since they let us-
It was basically, from what I understand, it was all orange. So it was either orange balls like you would have in Trix, but only orange, or it was orange Fruit Loops without the other. It was just all orange.
Kellogg's OJ's didn't have anything to do with O.J. Simpson. It was actually a cowboy on the front of it.
Ah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It didn't have anything to do with the murdering guy. It was it had to do with orange juice, as in OJ orange juice, not orange orange juice. Well, I miss those old cereals, but it's not like you can really go to the grocery store and buy them because they just make them out of crap now and poison.
Remember these growing up in the 80s, Timmy? Timmy, remember the Squeeze-Its?
No,
Squeeze-Its.
doesn't
The
ring a
little
bell.
fruit drinks that were like in they looked like a little plastic bottle, and you twisted the little, then it was like, you know.
Well, they have those now still, but you poke straws in them. My grandson likes those.
I had
those are-
Capri Suns when I was in middle school. Every day in middle school, I had a Capri Sun.
Is that where you poke the straw in it?
Yeah, into the foil bag.
Yeah.
They were okay.
No, I remember. Let's see. You were talking about
Fruit
you
roll-ups.
squeeze it.
Always had a fruit roll up.
I never got into those. There
were
was
called
something.
Squeeze-Its.
There was something when I was a little. I went to this lady's house next door to my grandmother's. Her name was Mrs. Fox, and she'd always do like a Bible study class with all the little kids. And she'd have this treat. It would look like it was some kind of moon stick or a space stick, and it was kind of chocolatey. It looked like it was like Slim Jim beef jerky, but it was actually kind of. And I can't figure out. I've looked for years for those, and I can't find them anywhere.
I saw a Slim Jim commercial back in the 90s, and I think it was only aired once.
Yeah. I love those.
You remember the Slim Jim, the mascot guy with the Slim Jim, with the beef jerky hair?
I don't remember that.
I remember Macho Man Randy Savage going, "Still bite into a Slim Jim. Oh yeah."
Well, this guy, he acted like that, but he was a skinny guy, and he had, what those eraser heads look like, the rappers? Kind of like that, but his head it was like a slim, that was like a beef jerky head. But the thing is that the commercial, it had somebody getting surgery, an appendix, appendicitis surgery, and the Slim Jim guy pops out and does his thing. And I only saw it once. It's like, yeah, eat a Slim Jim, get appendicitis, yay. Hi, Laura.
There's that King Vitaman.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it funny that you had all these cartoon mascots, then you got a real guy?
Yeah.
Some of the cereals I don't remember. They had one called you had Mr. T's cereal, you had Pac-Man cereal.
Yeah.
Well, 80s were terrible about, monopolizing on.
I wish I would have had some C-3POs. I don't remember those.
I don't remember any of those you're talking about, but that doesn't surprise me.
I remember seeing those C-3POs.
Actually, no. The other cereal I like too, I liked Apple Jacks. Apple Jacks.
Oh, I still love those.
Well, I told you Apple Jacks were good, but
they leave that funky film in your mouth.
Yeah, they do. They leave they turn into like Elmer's glue in your mouth. It's weird.
No, it tastes good still, though. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I didn't mind the taste of them. It just made a weird paste in your mouth.
That's when you wash it down with juice or milk or something.
Well, yeah, I didn't drink milk. I could wash it down with juice, I guess,
or water or whatever.
Of course, knowing me when I was 12, I probably had pop Saturday morning. Who knows?
Here's Timmy's cereal. Timmy ate, the French Toast Crunch. Remember those?
I hate that. That's the worst. No, I never heard of French Toast Crunch, but the Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the same thing. It must be the same.
What are those ones that are like little tiny cookies? But the
Cookie
cereal.
Crisp.
Cookie Crisp, yeah.
Those were dog. It was either a werewolf or a dog or something. I liked Cookie Crisp. They were pretty good.
They were okay. I didn't go out my way to get them.
Well, I had them again as an adult, and they weren't as good. But I think that's most cereals because they don't make them out of the same stuff anymore.
Yeah, now they got all kinds of weird chemicals and shit.
Well, Laura thinks you're talking about space food sticks.
Space food sticks? Is that what you
those
call
are the
them?
gooey cylinders.
They weren't really gooey, though.
I think Tang is the spaciest we ever got.
And the space food stick sounds like it, but it's not
I
exactly.
love Tang. They haven't made Tang in years.
Yeah.
Really?
I remember the Tang commercial.
Tang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I used to eat. Well, I had Tang when I was a kid all the time. It was good stuff.
Tang went out to. Tang hasn't been made in years.
Are you
they don't do that
sure?
anymore? I sure thought I saw some recently.
Yeah, I thought you could still get it.
Maybe not. I have to look. Oh, that's your finger. Oh, don't scare me like that. I saw that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Steve was like, woo!
Dave's on a phone, so he has to reach for the phone to do the phone.
Yeah, my picture's real small down there. I guess they still do make it, but it was bought by another company, so it's.
Oh, of course.
Probably not made the same then.
Yeah, probably not.
It's like, you remember when Hostess went out of business, and I guess.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they went out of business for like 4 days.
Yeah, there's a big stream out over that.
Yeah, but you know what? Something like they still made them in Canada or something, but now it seemed like there was never a lapse in Hostess stuff. They were always there.
Oh no, it was gone for like a year.
Really?
And then
you know what?
I
I made a point to get away from the Little Debbies and the Hostess stuff and just start thinking about my health more than. But I love them. I would love to live off that stuff.
I'll tell you what I saw at Publix this week or 2 weekends ago. We were in the freezer section. And they had the frozen concentrate orange juices again.
Oh,
like,
Minute Maid?
Yeah, where you dump it into the thing and then you fill up like 2 cans of cold water and
Can't get enough of that Minute Maid.
I'll tell you one thing about Tang that I remember is it tasted better just like dipping your finger in the powder.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, we did that.
Oh God, that was sour as hell though.
Yeah, well.
Oh, I liked it. You know what else tasted good was the baby aspirin, the orange Bayer baby asprin.
Why don't you just say you like the Flintstone vitamins?
Yeah, that's what I remember tasting good.
Those were good, but we didn't have them very often.
Yeah, what did like St. Joseph was the thing? It was like,
wow, I hadn't even thought about that since I was a kid. Tony, what was that? St. Joseph. I know it's a town in Missouri, but what was?
No, it was the basic. It was the baby aspirins. They made like over-the-counter medications for little kids.
I thought Bayer was the big aspirin.
The only medication I remember as a kid growing up is when you'd get a cut and then they'd break out the monkey's blood. And
Bactine was the big thing.
micro.
Oh, the methylate.
Yeah, the methylate. Burn the hell out of you for.
Yeah, we didn't do that. We did Bactine, which
for
didn't do
Captain,
jack
I
shit, but
had
it didn't
to-
hurt either.
The Band-Aid brand makes this spray, clear spray that I use on Captain. It's supposed to not sting, and it's a disinfectant, like for sores. So I used probably half a big bottle on him. And Captain he went down to just having a Band-Aid and no cone.
Ah,
And he was a good boy, and now he's doesn't have anything there. So he's
he's all healed
back
up.
to
Oh, good.
almost. He's still got a mark. He's got a little sore there. It's got a little scab, but he's, knock on wood, he's been pretty good about it. So I haven't.
Because I had the same thing under my arm, and that was scary for a while because it was like an abscess infected thing, and I was running a temperature, and I was looking up on the line, what could this shit possibly be? And I was almost going to break down and go to the doctor for the first time in 35 years. But then it just started draining, and it took care of itself, and it's fine.
Do you see him at 11?
Yeah, he just completely just flew away.
Steve, you're trying to show us something on your phone, but you keep
Yeah,
disappearing. I saw something look like a dog licking.
Yeah.
Who is that?
That's a dog we may be getting.
Oh, cool.
Where
What kind?
is it now?
It is with the lady who has it now.
Ah,
She's coming over.
Is it a
is that like
puppy?
an extra fuzzy
Yeah, it's a
chihuahua?
It's like a long-haired chihuahua.
Oh, I've
it's
never
pretty.
seen one of those.
Yeah.
It's got like a lion's mane.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty dog. Is it a little chihuahua like a toy, or is it bigger like your others?
It's a little bigger, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the little teacup things and stuff. That's what Gracie got, like one of those teacup dogs. I don't even like to call them dogs. They're not. I mean, she had a little chihuahua named Susie Q, and that thing was, I called it a rodent. It wasn't really.
Yeah, because I remember
like a
being
mole.
over. I remember being over at your place when Gracie and Josh were still there, and there was a little chihuahua that you were kind of pissed off about or something.
Yeah, that had to have been Susie.
Yeah.
Because
I wouldn't have-
they breed those things, but the problem is when you breed for smaller and smaller and smaller, the internal organs are still the same kind of size, and so the internal organs are all jammed in there, and they have all kinds of health problems.
Before I breed a dog, I usually take her to dinner first.
Yeah, there you go. But or it's like those dogs. What are they, Pomeranians, where they breed them to have bug eyes, and then the damn eyes will pop out?
Ooh, that's horrible.
Ooh.
My vet said that English bulldogs should be outlawed.
Yeah, because they breed them for the narrow hips. They're so damn narrow they can't even give birth.
Yeah,
They have to go in and cesarean.
They have nothing but health issues.
Yeah.
She said.
You guys ready for your first true or false from things that are true but sound like bullshit?
Yeah.
Sure.
True or false? Hamsters are illegal in Hawaii.
False.
I'll say false.
True.
I'm trying to think. Yeah,
That's
because
stupid
I never
enough to
saw
sound
anybody
like it's
say
true.
any of them.
Hamsters would thrive in the Hawaiian climate, and Hawaiian lawmakers fear the effects that introducing a new species into the delicate ecosystem would have there.
Yeah.
Well,
they got
I've never
enough-
seen wild hamsters before. Usually they're in cages.
Yeah.
Why they wear little leather jackets and shit, man. They're nasty. But no, because some genius like 200 years ago brought mongooses to Hawaii because they'll eat the rats. So first off, no, they don't. They're not up at the same time because they're like nocturnal, and so they don't touch the rats. What they do is eat every endangered bird on the island. I caught one in a live trap once. And boy, they're mean little sons of bitches.
What did you catch?
Mongoose.
Mongoose. Okay. I
It's
guess
not-
it got to
not-
be mean to kill snakes.
Yeah.
Now, the Honey Nut Cheerios bee, that's another one I like, the Honey Nut Cheerios.
Oh yeah.
The Cheerios is starting to make good flavors, and Special K is like they've outranked the kids cereals by having these sweet chocolate filled gooey. They're good, but I've cut out cereals altogether, and I just get granola because it's just a little easier to monitor. You can they have on the front if it's cooked in coconut oil or I got some granola last time that it's expensive. It's almost $8 for a little bag, but it's It doesn't have any kind of seed oils. It's just all the sorts of nuts and things. It's pretty good.
You ready for the next one? True or false? At the height of his power, Colombian cartel boss Pablo Escobar was spending $2,500 per week on rubber bands to hold the money he was bringing
Yeah.
in.
That was a huge expense at that point. To just wrapping up all the cash.
I'll say yes, just because Tony said yeah.
Yep. Now you ready for the other fact? Yes, it's true. It is also estimated that the cartel lost about $2.1 billion per year to rats eating the money that was kept in storage.
Wow.
Wow.
Did it say that there too?
Yes.
I didn't know they had an aside thing. That's pretty wild.
$2,500 a week on rubber bands.
Yep.
Supposedly, we're kind of starting to fight the cartels now and go against that stuff. So
Because I'd
we'll see.
heard back then in the 80s that every $100 bill in circulation had cocaine residue on it.
It's still pretty true today. We would test 20s and up with a little test kit, and you would always get a cocaine residue, or unless it was like brand new 20s, like from the bank, still in the.
And she said, geez, what a problem to have. And Laura also said, I think those snacks Steve was talking about were called space food sticks.
You don't remember me mentioning that?
I don't remember anything you said, Tony.
Okay.
But anyway,
Then you started talking about Tang.
did you see? I'd heard some say that they're that the president's wanting to stop the manufacture of pennies.
Yeah, because a penny,
they cost more to make than they're worth. I
even
guess.
though they're nothing but zinc with like just a micron of copper plating, they still cost like 2 or 3 cents to make.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense not to make sense.
I wish we would just go to a credit and debit system, to be honest with you.
No, you don't. You'll be like a China, and you'll have a social credit score and
Yeah,
shit.
there you
You
go.
don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fine.
They make you say that, don't they, Tony?
Yeah. No, what's really funny is the company I work for is owned by Chinese people, and the crap they do would not actually fly in China. They'd probably get lined up and shot.
Yeah.
Because they do that in China. There was a company that made like toys that were poisonous and crap, and they actually killed kids. They executed the president of the company.
Yeah, I'd heard about that.
True or false? The Black Death killed almost a quarter of the people in Europe.
Yep, it did.
I'll say yeah.
It's actually false.
It
was the Crimson Tide.
The Black Death killed a third of the people in Europe.
And
And
fun
it did it
fun
all in
fact,
just
people
5
don't
years.
realize. Fun fact, people don't realize that a third is bigger than a fourth.
Yes. That's why the A&W's, third quarter pound burger didn't make it, because people thought it was smaller than the quarter pound.
See, Steve doesn't even know that.
Laura
now.
said true, so she's.
So, Steve, what's bigger, a quarter pound or a third pound?
Quarter pounder.
Steve, can you visualize an apple in your mind and then turn it?
No. I don't know which is bigger, a third or a quarter. I don't know. I was just guessing.
Well, a quarter is 25%, and a third is 33%.
Well, see, I don't know that. So.
Well, that's why you're here, Steve. We're passing on.
There's your corny dog, Steve. Look at our screen. Look at our screen. No, don't look away.
Look at the screen, Steve.
Look
Oh
away.
my God, you
Look
missed
away,
it again.
Stevie Land. Well, yeah, you can look at the screen now, and you'll probably see it in a few seconds.
What are
True or
you
false?
talking about?
You'll
The
see it.
second
You'll
man-
know when you see it, dude.
You ready for
Corny
this?
dogs. What is that boy doing with that corny dog?
That was one of those things at the middle of the drive-in theaters between the
Yeah.
movies.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, yes, Tony to play those.
I'm actually going to a drive-in theater here in about a week and a half.
Oh, my God.
Oh yeah.
We got one here in Ocala, and my grandkids are going to be here visiting, and that that live action Lilo and Stitch movie is going to be playing, so my daughter wants to take them.
Did you ever go to the movie drive-in on Coldwater Mountain?
Where?
On Coldwater Mountain
The hell was that at?
in Anniston.
Yeah.
Because I lived on Coldwater Mountain, and the drive-in theater was on the other side of the mountain. It was on the mountain, and I used to pass by it every day, and I never went there to see a movie. And I kind of feel bad because it would have been kind of a neat place to see a movie.
I used to go every summer to the East 70 drive-in there on Colfax and Aurora. That was fun.
Well, we could walk there.
Wasn't that a
Yeah, but
Neil
it was
Young
drive-in.
song? Wasn't that a
That
Neil
was
Young
one of
song,
those,
Coldwater
yeah, that's what I
Mountain?
was talking about, a drive-in. Tony would have liked it because it was one of those old 50s drive-ins or 40s ones they had that was all made out of block,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, the screen.
Wasn't that a Neil Young song, Coldwater Mountain?
Don't know.
To live on Coldwater Mountain.
I don't follow that shit. I don't
With
like
the
that guy.
blah, the
True
other
or false? Ivan the
blues.
Terrible was the inspiration for Dracula.
No, Vlad Tepes.
No, I'll say false.
That is false. Actually, Vlad the Impaler was the inspiration
Yeah,
for
he drove a
Dracula.
Chevy.
And he drove a Chevy, yes.
Chevy Impaler.
All I saw was, I looked at the live feed, all I saw was wiggling wieners.
Whoa.
No,
what
you
you're
would have
talking
known when you saw it, Steve.
Oh, okay.
Wiggling Wieners, that's the name.
Speaking of wiggly wieners, I'll be right back.
He just got done talking to us about wieners, and now he's got to take a break. What the hell is that about?
I think he explained it in his own special way.
Yeah.
And even
I
Laura
just
had to
realized
say,
there's a precious moment for you.
don't jinx
I
it.
think we can clip that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Here you go, Tony. Here's one for you.
Uh-oh.
True or false? The first bomb that the Allies dropped on Germany during World War II killed an elephant.
Probably did. They actually targeted like zoos and stuff. They were
that's
wonderful
sad.
people.
Why did they do
It's-
that?
It's true. In fact, it killed several. The bomb fell on the Berlin Zoo and killed 7 of the zoo's 8 elephants.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
War is terrible altogether, but that's
it
just,
is.
it's sad. But give us another one that's not so depressing.
Yeah.
True or false? English is the official language of the United States.
It is not. There was a Senator S.I. Hayakawa. If you ever hear the song Number 9 Dream by John Lennon, he says, S.I. Hayakawa, blah, 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 blah. He was a Japanese American, well, American of Japanese ancestry, you got to say it that way. And he was senator from California. He worked his whole career to try to get English as the official language of the United States. Never succeeded. The United States has no official language except for Spanish.
That's it. Very good.
Well, I heard that they're going to try, or they're trying again.
Yeah, they're trying again, yeah. But they've been trying for...
Despite what many believe, the United States does not have an official language.
It
What does this
should,
say?
because
What does
everybody-
this
every
say
other
here?
country does.
Why does it say, how about a tasty sock?
No, it's 5 o'clock.
Buttered sausage.
How about a tasty sock?
See, 5 knock. How about a taste? No, it's 5 knock. How about a tasty 5 knock? Whatever it is, that's a weird
That
font.
clock is really fucked up. It's like one of those Roman clocks where they wanted to make it 10 hours.
Here's
I was
an
thinking of
awesome
Price
one.
is Right clock. What?
You ready for this one, Timmy? True or false? Until just recently, Russia did not consider beer to be an alcoholic drink.
I'll say, let me do this, Tony. Till recently, they didn't consider beer an alcoholic drink.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say true.
Tony?
I would probably, because they tend to like a little bit more alcohol content than
Yeah.
just beer.
It is true. Anything containing less than 10% alcohol was considered a soft drink in Russia prior to 2011.
They know how to do it.
You
don't
ever
they?
see Boris Yeltsin? I think he
Did
never
he
went
have the
below
gin
10%
blossom?
alcohol.
Did he have that gin blossom nose?
Oh boy. He was a real piece of work.
That guy, that Jack Wheeler that I used to work for, in the 90s doing the house improvements. The one that looked just like Dick Van Patten. He had a gin blossom because he had been an alcoholic for a long time. He was an alcoholic for a long time, and then he said one day he woke up on the kitchen floor in the morning and he says, "What a final example I'm setting for my kids." And he went off cold turkey and never drank again.
Ah,
That nice? I like those stories.
take your problems to church next Sunday and
My
leave them there.
my Uncle Clay, he used to be kind of mean to his kids, yell and this and that and the other. And I think he did one too many. Not drinking, I'm saying, but just threw a fit and he felt so bad that he changed his whole personality. It was just the nicest guy in the world the rest of his life. And I mean, that's not something he said. It's something my cousin Debbie said,
Oh.
so she can attest to it.
Wow, I
And,
mean, because not a lot of people are able to do that. I mean, they try, and then they end up just being I mean, like me, I always try to be a nicer person, and I always fail. It's just
Yeah, you always fail. But he was in the this is in the mid-50s, and at the same time, and this makes it even more impressive, he decided to stop cigarettes cold turkey too. And he had one cigarette, and his last cigarette, he would keep it in his shirt pocket. And he said eventually it was just this twisted little mess and fell apart. And he said that was it.
Yeah.
And I told my dad that. And he's like, "Yeah, I've heard that story 50,000 times." Of course, my dad was the baby of the family. He was the first to die from smoking. The middle brother, Dick, was the second to die from smoking. And guess what? Clay outlived them for like 10 or 20 years, even though he was considerably older because he stopped in the 50s.
Mhm.
So he stopped smoking and stopped being mean. That's pretty cool. I wish he could have met Clay. He was so funny, such a funny guy. He's the one I told you that was at the, was it Able or Baker? What was it? The Crossroads.
Yeah.
He was the one. He was in one of the ships at the Crossroads, the nuclear detonation at sea, the underwater one. So that was a neat story he used to tell me. So that's kind of something neat to have an uncle that was at one of those nuclear tests, one of the most popular nuclear tests.
Oh yeah, people went there many times.
Now he said it was because he was on a hospital ship.
Oh.
And he said they were all huddled down. And I said, because when I saw that movie that Shatner narrated,
Right.
Trinity and Beyond, the atomic bomb movie, I was so impressed. I had to call Clay. I called him from work, when I was walking around at one weekend. I'm like, didn't you say you saw that? And he's like, yeah, it was Crossroads. And he said, we all hunched over with our eyes shut and this and that. And he said, when it went off, it was like being in a closet with the light off and then the closet light turn on.
Wow.
And then he said, when we looked and you could see the giant pillar of water, you could see all of it. And he said it melted some of the stuff on the ship. I just thought that was an interesting story because how many people could tell you that story,
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my diversion. Sorry. Well, that's why we do these books and these things.
You know, what's funny is my little radio toolbox thing pops up and it shows what's playing on Q-Star. Berlin, Take My Breath Away.
Steve played "Take My Breath Away." Of all those Berlin songs I gave him, you're still playing that turd?
Well, it's on the auto. It's playing now.
Oh,
there's
the
no
auto.
show going on.
Do you even have anything to do with the song selection on the auto tune, Steve?
I mean, he's off
He's there,
wiggling his
Chad.
wiener, but no, because I remember when I was having my year of not fun about 10 years ago. The auto DJ played Pilot of the Airways literally about 6 or 7 times an hour.
Wow. Well, he said he does have the selection. Well, I gave you like 40 Berlin songs, Steve, so you can take My Breath Away from that playlist and replace it with You Don't Know or one of their really rocking songs.
Oh, it's Mr. Straight Pipes Harley, who has to leave for work every morning at 5:22 a.m. on the dot on his Harley with no mufflers.
They should really. There should be a law. I'm not for
There
laws.
is,
I'm
but
pretty
nobody-
libertarian, but they should kill people that do that, and also people that play the subwoofer where it should have a meter. If it shakes your house a certain meter, that they should die.
Well, if your license plate is buzzing, it's too damn loud.
Yeah. If my license plate's buzzing, it's way too damn loud. If it's buzzing my license plate. I sent off for my registration renewal, and they sent me 2 new license plates. I'm not used to that, getting license plates in the mail. I'm used to just changing the sticker every year for 40 years.
Yeah, well, they used to do that in California until they realized what a waste of materials it was. They actually kind of figured that in World War II, because prior to that, you got a new plate every year. And in World War II, they said, we're not going to waste all this metal. So they gave you just a corner tab. And then they went back after the war, they went back to a new plate every year. And then in 56, they went to the new yellow plate with black numbers on it. And that was great, but they made everybody get the new plate, and they could keep that plate. But by 62 or 63, they already ran out of numbers.
It's strange because I don't know if the numbers. I'll tell you next time if the numbers are the same, but the print on it, the picture is the same and everything. Now here's a memory, and Gottschalk might appreciate this. So, this had to have been in '76 when I was 6 years old. I guess my mom had me go to the clubhouse, the office of the apartment complex we lived in, and pick up a package. So I picked up a package from mom, and what it was, where they were bicentennial license plates for her car
Oh.
that had come in the
Yeah.
mail.
Yeah.
They were red, white, and blue.
I think every state did some version of the bicentennial plate.
Yeah.
I think so. It was just an interesting memory. I remember picking that up. And
Because California, then in 63, they came out with the iconic black plate with the yellow lettering that everybody knows. And then they got smart. When they got smart, by the time they ran out of numbers for that in 69, they didn't make everybody get new plates. They went to the blue plate, and then instead of 3 letters and 3 digits, it was 3 digits and 3 letters. But they let everybody keep the old plate.
okay.
Because there's so many cars in California that if you make everybody get, oh, there's my guys. Hi there.
Tony's playing Trinity Beyond that I told you about that had William Shatner and everything.
Are you like me? Do you have that new Kanye West song stuck in your head?
Considering I haven't heard a new song in like 30 years, probably not. But so this movie, that was neat about it is not only was Will Shatner narrating, and I don't really like the guy, but he did a pretty good job.
Oh, he's
He
talented. He's talented. He may be
hesitating.
a jackass, but he's talented.
Yeah, and not only that, but they had the Russian the Moscow Philharmonic or whatever do the score for it. And when you see these mushroom clouds with the and all the choir and it's like, woo, that's very dramatic and neat looking. And if you go to the Atomic Bomb Test YouTube channel, I subscribe to it. That's just the tip of the iceberg, Tony. So much stuff has been released. Beautiful bombs, just gorgeous. I hate saying that because they kill fish and stuff, but yeah, they
Bombing,
breathtaking.
such a beautiful thing.
They are. Some of these, I mean, they're works of art. Those mushroom clouds, some of them, especially like the ones they did over the ocean.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hate any kind of as Whitaker once said when he saw it, he says, "Beautiful but deadly sight."
Yeah.
But I guess that's about the best way to say it.
Oh, yeah. There's Oak Ridge Boys and Hanford. Oh, boy.
So about the auto DJ,
Yeah.
I do control the stuff that goes on. I haven't updated it since I started the station.
Ah, there you go.
You want to?
No, you remember that though, right?
Stuff in there.
You remember that back in like 2014, for some reason, it was stuck on Pilot of the Airways. It would literally play that 6 or 7 times an hour.
Yeah, that's when I just started or something, and I don't know what was going on.
At least it
loading
wasn't
the
that
song.
Mungo Jerry shit. Oh my gosh, I hate that.
Well, he's singing the song, and somebody's punching him while he's singing the song.
It was me.
Which I don't
punching him.
blame.
I went back in time and punched the shit out of him.
I don't
In the
blame whoever it
summertime.
was.
You ready?
Yeah.
True or false? Wild hippos can only be found in Africa.
False. Oh, wild hippos.
Wild,
hippos.
yeah.
I'll say. Well, no. What about India? I don't know. I'll say true because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I say false.
Is that Einstein?
What's your
That's Edward
premise,
Teller.
Steve?
Hmm?
He
What's
said
your
it's-
premise for saying false?
But the same thing Timmy did was, I think some are in India and other parts of the world too.
Tony?
Plus, you got some in zoos.
I don't,
I
well,
said
yeah, but
true,
they're not
those aren't
wild. I mean, if it's actually
I
running
said,
wild,
I
that thing
said
is-
true because I just went it because I had to do one or the other.
But
Oh,
that's Edward Teller. That's the father of the H bomb. What a
Yeah,
thing
but
to
he
be a
said
father.
he
of.
worked with Einstein.
Not Einstein, but Oppenheimer. Einstein didn't do shit. He signed a letter
But
saying, "Let's
I
make an
saw the
atom
movie and the
bomb."
guy was talking about Einstein.
Right, but he didn't actually do
So
anything.
you guys want to know the answer to the hippo?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
Yeah.
It's actually false. They can now be found in the country of Colombia. Although this is due to the fact that drug kingpin Pablo Escobar kept hippos as pets, and since his death, they have since escaped into the rivers and have been multiplying in Colombia.
Could you imagine having a litter box for a hippo?
So,
Yeah, I was married to one.
oh, did you? There's a YouTube video, a famous one. I love the video. It's so funny. It's a hippo farting, and it's so funny.
Hippo farting to
across the
you,
river
hippo
here,
farting to
across the river into Georgia, there's a thing called Cumberland Island, and
you.
I took a little river sightseeing cruise down there, and you could see wild horses, beautiful wild horses. And what happened is that I guess it was the Rockefellers had a big plantation on that island, and they had all these horses. And when the ranch and the plantation went away, the horses, they just left them there and they became wild horses.
Ah,
And so the thing is they only live about 10 years because of all the salt grass that they eat. They said it would be like living off Pringles.
ooh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, well, can't you give them, and it's illegal for them to give them regular healthy, and that's kind of cruel.
kind of is because a domestic horse will live about 35 years, right?
Right. At least around 30 years, I think.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I don't know what the deal is, why they can't just,
Yeah, they might want to get in there. Maybe Musk can get in there and say, "Hey, what about this law? It's not good." There's
yeah,
fat man.
exactly.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Sweetness.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I don't know. I'm looking.
And hippos kill a lot of people every year. They don't eat them or anything, but a hippo can move a lot faster than you think it can.
Oh, yeah.
In Africa, hippos kill more people than crocodiles do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they got some big jaws and teeth too.
Actually, hippos have been known to kill crocodiles.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Well, I mean, one of them steps on you, it's pretty much curtains. I mean, and then, like I say, they move a lot. You think, oh, yeah, I can get out of this thing's way real easy. No.
Well, I saw a TV show and a guy, I guess he was kind of one of those, like the crocodile hunter guy, just one of those guys that do the expositions. And it showed his leg, and he had a hippo bite on his leg. And it was like, how do I describe it? It was like, it almost looked like if you had a chicken leg and just pulled a big piece of that meat off. I mean, it was, it was healed and it wasn't raw or anything, but it was just like a big stripe up his leg missing, like a big chunk from where that hippo had to eat. I'll never forget that.
So they do eat people.
Yeah.
Well,
They're the happiest people.
I don't know if they eat people or they just kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've seen where like elephants, like somebody was like messing with an elephant and the elephant didn't care for it. And that, oops.
Gored the hell out of them with a tub.
Did you
Kicked
see a
him over.
video up on, I don't know where it was. I saw it years ago. This big elephant sits down on its trainer and it goes up its butt.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah,
an
they had to
elephant
put
or
in
a
a TV for
rhino.
him
I
and
think it was, yeah.
That,
I think it was an elephant or a rhino. I forget. Elfino.
So there was one guy that was an elephant trainer, and he was trampled by an elephant. And this was sometime in the '90s, and it was a big news story. And I went to his funeral because evidently Michelle, Darren's wife, worked with his wife. So we were at his funeral, and there were some other guys that were just there with the wives, and we were all out after the funeral. We were all there by at the cemetery or whatever, and this group of women, all of a sudden they start laughing and cackling real loud, and all of us guys, we just backed away. We just like, no, we're not with them.
You didn't accidentally stumble in.
Kind of like,
you didn't accidentally stumble into that episode of Mary Tyler Moore, did you?
The clown one?
Oh, that was hilarious. I played a clip of that the other day.
I've never seen it, but I've seen a clip on YouTube. It's supposed to be like...
Oh, it's hilarious.
I didn't understand it, but I guess you have to see the whole thing.
What was the name of that clown? Oh, God, it's not I have the clip somewhere. I'm not going to get it out, but... Chuckles, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chuckles. Yeah.
I didn't understand it.
Well, she went the whole episode telling people how wrong they were for making jokes about the clown that died. And then they finally get to the funeral, and she's the one that can't stop laughing.
Yeah.
Now, that's funny.
Yeah.
But then at the very end, after that, she starts bawling, and then I didn't.
Well, no,
get
the
it
priest
anymore.
says, "Oh, he would want you to laugh. He would want you to laugh," and then she starts crying
because she got pointed out, or
Yeah.
she doesn't like to be center of attention. I don't think.
Well, you're the star of your own show that's named after you, so you better deal with
I was
it.
about to say. She had a
True
cute
or
Mustang.
false?
Yeah. Well, she ran it over
Famous
some-
children's book Green Eggs and Ham contains just 50 different words.
Probably does.
Probably. Yeah.
And 48
It
of them
is-
are Sam I Am.
It's true. Dr. Seuss made a bet with a colleague that he could write a successful book using just 50 words, and he won.
Wow.
Pretty,
Dr.
that's pretty
Seuss-
talented.
Well,
that's
Dr.
talented.
Seuss also during World War II, he made this like wonderfully, incredibly racist anti-Japanese cartoons and shit for the propaganda people.
Wow.
Well, I remember
You ready
G.
for
Gordon
this
Liddy.
one?
Yeah, but give me a second. I remember G. Gordon Liddy had recited.
Chico and the lady.
Something
Chico and the man. Hey, well, go ahead.
He recited something that it can be very poetic and pretty and fluid to make that single syllable words. And somebody made they were describing why it could be very pretty and poetic to use single, and they did their whole little thesis using one syllable words, and it actually flowed and it was really neat.
Ah.
I was like, that's talent.
Yeah.
And Dr. Seuss reminded me of that. And I don't know if you could ever find that, but it was neat. When he was reading that, I was like, they got their point across.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
True or false? John Wayne was offered the lead role in Blazing Saddles.
I'll say true just because it's so off the wall.
I say false.
Hell, he died in 79. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because when Blazing Saddles in the 80s.
74,
No,
I think.
74.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, the only two movies that Mel Brooks did worth a damn were both in 74. Blazing Saddles
Frankenstein.
and Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I thought Anxiety was kind of fun.
So it's actually true.
Was he?
Sadly, the Duke turned it down, but made a point to tell Mel Brooks that he was excited to see it when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, John Wayne probably didn't like do comedy. No, he was on laughing a lot. He liked
Oh, hell
comedy.
no. Oh, you got to see McClintock.
Okay.
And Timmy, you got to see McClintock too, because the lead gal ends up in a big mud pit.
Here's one for Steve.
Hey.
Yes.
True or false? The Star Trek transporter was invented by a production assistant who wondered why the future wouldn't have teleportation.
I say false.
Can you say that again? I was thinking about a woman in the mud pit.
The Star Trek transporter was invented by a production assistant who wondered why the future wouldn't have teleportation.
And I'll say
Pretty
false.
true.
And I want to tell you why.
Okay.
because I say it's false because it was too expensive for them to come up with the effects to land the Enterprise. So Gene Roddenberry came up with this, or one of them did, about the beaming.
Yeah.
That's almost verbatim, Steve.
Yep.
False. It was actually invented as a cost-saving idea to prevent having to film the Enterprise taking off and landing on planets all the time.
Yep.
Or having a shuttle do it, because they did the shuttle once or twice.
Yeah.
I would have preferred the shuttle and stuff because it's easier to stomach that people aren't dying every time they leave the ship, and it would have been pretty to have like different planets and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they do this. They got to beam me down. And half the time, I'm not sure I'm going to materialize right.
Now, we've talked about this one before.
Yeah.
True or false? The Addams Family set was entirely black and white to keep the actors in character.
Nope.
I'd say false.
It was. I've seen pictures of it in color. It was colorful.
Yeah,
it was
false.
like crazy colors. Even Timmy would have said, "Yeah, it's a little too
Probably
much."
like colored like behind me, I'll bet.
Right.
I think I've seen a picture of it. It was a lot of
Because it would make it to make the contrast on because it was filmed in black and white, but they had all different colors in order to make different contrasts and stuff that add visual depth to it all.
So it is false. The set was actually in different shades of pink.
Mm.
right.
Quite a departure from the show's playful dark theme.
Yeah.
You know, though, back in those days of black and white for blood, they did use chocolate syrup, I heard.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I would have liked to have seen? I think the Munsters would have looked good in color.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they did the movie,
Because-
but they made everybody like blue or some shit.
Yeah, they were supposed to be green, but I think with all the brass candelabras and maybe the red carpet, and I think it would have looked even spookier in color. Believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe so. It's not a popular opinion, but that's
You know, I'm so used to the Munsters black and white that when I finally did see it in color, it just seemed out of place.
Yeah, well, they did the movie and stuff. But the thing is, I think they had the technology for like desatted color, because that probably would have been the best. You know, the to have it be like dark and spooky looking, but still have more depth to it.
I agree with Tony. Yeah, I can picture like the brass candelabras and different. I thought as far as black and white movies, I thought Miracle on 34th Street would have looked really good in color. That's one movie
yeah.
I could probably see colorized. It's Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Christy, yeah. All the
yeah, you know.
colors.
Yeah, to me,
pardon?
like film noir needs to be the only director who could make film noir in color was Hitchcock. But usually, it just the starkness just it works with black and white.
I like the birds. It was in color. It would look horrible in black and white.
Yeah,
Birds was-
I
Birds
guess
was in
I'm
black
just
and white.
I'm new fashioned. I'm not much for black and white movies. I think
Oh, yeah,
anything.
it was in color
I think if they can colorize any movie and make it convincing, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, because the
I don't
the
know.
early colorized shit looked like garbage.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know.
Remember Turner Classic Movies started the colorization
Yeah.
process in like the late 80s, early 90s, and it was
Yeah, it was bad, and I think they did try to do Miracle on 34th Street, but the little girl had gray hair. It didn't work. But I'm saying they have the best. They colorized a Lucy Christmas episode, and it looked good.
Yeah, they got
I mean,
a lot better.
I would have no
Matter of
problem
fact,
with
I think The Miracle on 34th Street was like the first movie they colorized on Turner Classic Movies.
So
Yeah,
they had
even
good
better. It's
intentions.
wonderful
It just wasn't there yet, and I think that I wouldn't mind seeing Dick Van Dyke show colorized, even though Sally, I can never picture her with red hair. It just seemed like she was always blonde to me.
He had red hair.
Rosemary.
I think that was the what they
I was
said.
touched. She had blonde hair.
Am I? No, I think she had red hair.
Because I saw her on Hollywood Squares, Rosemary, and she had white hair.
Maybe that's something one of you can goggle, because I can't, because it slows down my stuff when I open something else up.
True or
And
false?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
True or false? Early astronaut toilets were so bad that feces sometimes floated through the space capsule.
I'm sure that still happens nowadays.
Probably true.
So it's true. And he says, read the transcript of the Apollo 10 mission sometimes. Thank me later.
Didn't some woman poop all over the ship and they had to throw the ship away?
Yeah.
No, she tried to actually drill a hole in the wall.
That's a
I
different
think.
one. Tony said there's a different one. That,
Yeah, there was one that it was so damn nasty that it ended up. It's like Oh, yeah, all the air was like contaminated inside the space station module or whatever.
Yeah, and there was a different woman. I guess it was
Asshole.
a different woman. Yeah, she was. It was a Russian and U.S. shared thing,
What
and
is
she
it? What is it about women astronauts going nutty?
Yeah.
Or the one who drove across country wearing a diaper to try and kill somebody.
Yeah,
Well,
trying to kill the other astronaut's wife or something.
Yeah,
because,
Now you know why the Enterprise doesn't have a bathroom.
that's the one my uncle saw, Steve.
Ah,
What?
That one right there. My uncle saw that go off.
yeah.
Oh, really?
He was
Oh,
in
yeah,
one of the
that's the
ships
H-bomb.
there.
Was that the atomic bomb?
That's the H-bomb test.
Yeah, it was. They blew it up underwater,
Yeah.
and so he was in one of the ships that saw that.
Not
so
the
it
one that was like right there, but further back.
No, they had some ones that were close up.
Those didn't have any money on.
I hope
Did they
not.
get like shockwaves or something?
Yeah, he said it melted some of the metal on his ship,
Oh, gee.
but he never got any like nuclear side effects from what I know. He lived a long time.
Yeah.
Did they? I guess they had to go below deck. I guess take over. I guess.
No, he said it was. I don't think they were.
Well, if it
below
melted
deck.
parts of the ship, they probably wouldn't have been on the same side as that.
Well, he at least said it was like being in a closet with the light off and someone turning the light on.
Ah,
So I
okay.
mean, they had to have had some kind of access to daylight. Okay. Gosh,
You
Tom.
got more?
What's that? Oh, let's just talk for a little while.
Okay.
Okay, cells.
What do you like to talk about?
I don't know. I put the book off to the side.
Cereal?
Oh, yummy mummy.
I have
Yummy
this bad
mummy.
rash down here.
Fruity
No, never mind.
yummy mummy. And now that
Let's
one I
talk
never
about
heard
your
of.
rash. We can come up
Yeah.
with things about it.
No, that's not.
Oh, Yummy Mummy, I think is a later thing.
Yeah. Because I really didn't eat cereal after the early 80s, so I don't know a lot of that shit.
I have such good memories of kids' cereals, all kinds of cereals. I still would love to, but it's just like, they're not good for you.
And cactus.
I hated getting cancer because it just kind of takes the fun out of eating stuff.
By the way, those space food sticks were discontinued.
Oh, that's too bad because they were like this sort of gooey, and they were individually wrapped like a cylinders. They're long cylinder, like a dowel made of goo.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of food sticks, not that particular, but a fond memory I had from the 80s. Remember just the breaded Groton's fish sticks?
oh yeah, Gorton's.
Those were good. I actually
Oh, I
liked
love them
those.
with tartar sauce.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I
It's
did
not
back then
anything
too.
fish just tasted like you're eating nothing. It
Yeah.
just-
But back then,
maybe they were good. I don't know. I think
No.
I like bought the Captain D's like frozen,
Yeah.
and it was just like
Well, you
eating
got to have the
cardboard.
tater tots.
I don't like tater tots.
You are a communist.
Yeah, Timmy. You just need to
I
get off
don't
the
eat.
show now.
Hey, I don't do the hot cocoa. We
Tater
were
tots are fantastic. If a
Vinny's-
place has tater tots, I will eat those over French fries any day of the week.
Remember Vinny Zuma was on a early one of our chicken shit shows, and somebody said, I think Allie was like, "Oh, I just had some hot cocoa," and he's like, "What are you, a communist?" That's an ugly picture behind you, Godsjock. What's the
No,
deal?
it's not. It's cactuses are beautiful, and they're
It's
always
just,
like this.
it's just the composition. It's too busy. I'd rather see like a desert with cactuses and a storm at sunset, like a
That
big
almost
storm.
is.
Well, let's see if I
Remember
can
that
find
guy that was part of the Western expansion, that artist that did all those very dramatic paintings of the expansion west and the cliffs, the canyons and the it's really good. Very dramatic artist. You know what I'm talking about, anybody?
vaguely.
Well, it made me think of Ansel Adams, but he wasn't a painter; he was a photographer.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
he's
was
done-
pre him. I mean, this guy was actually, I think he was actually in the Western expansion movement and was like on those wagon trains, but the paintings he did were just,
Remington?
oh, now I've got to look it up because And this is gonna slow me down. Slow me down.
I'll look it
Well,
up
can
here
you
in a
look shit
second.
up on your phone?
I guess I could.
Yeah, because I do that sometimes just to take the load off the computer. And sorry, I don't mean actually look shit up on your phone. I mean just look things up on your phone. I should stop doing that.
So are we purposely avoiding wishing Putt well, or?
Well, I
was
saw
waiting for
his
him to
little
show
circle in the chat again, but then he doesn't say anything. So I don't know if he's looking at it or you ask him how he's doing, you get nothing. It's like an imposition, like we're invading his privacy or something.
Okay, I think it's I'm seeing the pictures.
Should have the artist.
Remington, Russell.
Yeah, that's what he said earlier, Remington.
Yeah,
Who said that?
me said that.
Tony.
Now I'm looking at one from Albert Bierstadt. And hang on. Oh, I just went to the wrong site because you just wasted on the wrong people. This was.
Uh-oh. Ah, there we are. And that is a racetrack or a concert or a Roman gladiator game.
It looks like it's Bierstadt.
Bierstadt.
Albert Bierstadt. It looks like that if you look up his paintings of the canyons and stuff. I think that's kind of what I'm looking at. But I think I see that. It's kind of like Bob Ross on mustard, like if he had inhaled mustard.
All right.
Thanks, Google. You can't just find out the guy who did it. You gotta have the life story of everybody that's has nothing to do with anything.
I'll be right back. Guts are doing something.
Anyway, that's him. Anyway, that's sorry for that diversion. Well, now you've got foosball behind you. I heard they're gonna get rid of that stadium that they did the Diamondbacks.
No, they're gonna get rid of the one in Tampa, though.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with that.
I don't think you will see the Rays play in Tropicana Field again.
No, it won't be Tropicana. I know they're building a new one, but I don't know where yet.
Orlando's pushing hard.
They need to keep it at the Tampa Bay Rays. They don't need to move to Orlando.
Well, we went to a company field trip to a Diamondbacks game, and the arena or the whatever you call it, it was so huge.
Mm-hmm.
When you're inside it, it's like it's the people on the other end of the. It's almost like you're looking at another state. And this is all indoors. I'd never been in a building so big. And we had skyboxes. We had a skybox, our company did. So we had unlimited free hot dogs and popcorn. Boy, that was neat. I felt like a real son of a bitch there.
It is a nice field. I like Chase Field.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, Chase Field is where the Diamondbacks play. They have the tractable roof.
Wow, I tell you, that was that's a Soviet Union bomb. But no, it was just something I'll never forget. I'd never seen something so big before.
It's big.
It's big.
It is big. It is
It
big.
is big, very big.
I have a question for you guys. Anybody, let's see, remember these?
No? It's a neat box. No, I
It's
don't.
Nabisco made them, and I used to love them, and I can't find them anywhere anymore.
It's because they're good and they don't allow good stuff to be around anymore. You know what I remember if that Nabisco made that I really miss, and Gutshot might know. They were the Nabisco Devil's Food cakes, and they came in this like little red and
I
yellow
didn't like.
bag.
I didn't like the taste of the chocolate in them. They were.
Devil's Food cookies?
They were kind
No,
of
they
like
were
cookies,
cakes.
but they were soft cakes. They looked like horse turds, but they were kind of flat.
Yeah, I know those. I used to love those too. Now,
I loved
the
them.
Dollar Tree has something close to it, and it's very similar and very close tasting.
I didn't like the taste of the chocolate. The chocolate was odd.
It had a mint. Well, it had a mint coating right below the glaze, didn't it?
Yeah.
I loved it. Oh my
It was more
gosh.
like marshmallow, I thought.
Yeah, I guess maybe it was a marshmallow kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll check it out if I ever go to Dollar Tree.
Yeah, check it out. But be careful not to get the ones that say 0% fat. There's other ones that say they're not fat free. Unless you want fat free.
I don't care. I'll just look for them if I'm ever there.
The Dollar Tree is about the only one that comes close to that. They're really good too.
I miss there was a lot of good. We talked about it before. What I loved were these Dolly Madison. It came out in the mid-'70s. It was a celebration of the bicentennial. It was back when I still lived in Kansas City, but they were Stars and Stripes, and you could buy these chocolate cupcakes with I think they had the red stripes, red and white icing, and then they had vanilla cakes with the white icing with blue stars. Oh, they were so good.
They were called what?
Stars and Stripes, but they were in different boxes. You had to buy the stripes separately than from the stars, but they were so good.
Yeah, they were. And Kansas City, you can also get the Hostess cupcakes that were like spice cake.
Oh, that sounds good.
They were just like the chocolate ones, but they were spice cake, and you can't find this anywhere. That's because they're good.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Wendy Lou.
Hello, Wendy.
But yeah, they had. But now you can, if you're big into that stuff. And unfortunately, I don't really eat it anymore. But they got like orange cupcakes with the
Yes.
doodle, and they've got like red velvet. They've got a lot of neat flavors. I just
I like those.
I like red velvet. How are you doing, Wendy Lou?
Hello.
Where am I at, Timmy?
Hello, Wendy.
You're at Red Rocks.
Yes, I am.
Is Apology None playing? No, probably not.
Could be.
What is
I
it?
actually did the show live from here that day that I took this picture.
I remember you're on one of our precious moments there.
Yeah, it was the Duran Duran was playing that night.
Where's that
Very
at?
good.
Red Rocks.
Colorado.
Oh, okay.
It's right outside of Denver.
Oh.
You should have done Apology None playing at Red Rocks.
You know, I probably have sang Apology None songs, but it would have been when it was in the daytime and there was no concert going on or anybody.
No, but I mean actually do, a scene, of
You know what's outside of their universe? They haven't traveled yet, and I don't really plan on taking them out of Hula Vista. I'm not saying I won't. It just hasn't happened.
You took him to Lidsville. What are you talking about?
That was a whole nother story there.
No.
I don't know. Maybe I really don't really. Now that Darren's leaving Colorado, I kind of never want to think about it again. Although I'm sure I'll think about it because I spent a good amount of my childhood there. But Red Rocks is a very impressive place. I'll give you that. And what you can't see, Steve, because it's such a little picture. Oh, you kind of can over on the kind of the left-hand side. You can see the Denver skyline.
Oh yeah.
So it's a pretty neat place. The actual rocks are amazing, and we used to go through the tunnels, or natural tunnels, all the way through the rocks, and you end up right out on top, and it's just like 30 stories down, straight down. If you fell off, I mean, it would be catastrophic. And there was nothing holding you there. There was no rail. It was pretty crazy that they even allowed people to do it at all.
Looks like it's built in the side of the mountain there.
kind of is a little bit.
It's kind of you'd have to find different pictures of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one view, but the actual sides are what's the most impressive. They've got these wedge-shaped rocks that are
Hi, Wendy.
100, 300 feet high. They're crazy high.
Hi, Wendy.
She's doing well. Finally have caught up on the rest of our vacation. Yeah, she just went to Mississippi. Ratchet, his mates, they remember him and you know, his CB friends and stuff. And she goes there and has a good time. It's like a little family reunion for them, which is neat. And Ratchet's mom, Claudine, Claudine is wants to do a watch party for the film.
Great.
And she just lives a few streets over, so I mean, I can ride my little motorcycle thing there. That's the only time I ride it anymore. Is just going to Claudine's like once a year, and that's sad. I really need to ride that thing more. I'm just afraid I'll die on it.
Gotta be careful. I mean, I'd like to get a little motorcycle too, but
I'll be careful from now on. Like we talked about it before, that crash kind of took the fun out of it.
yeah.
I used to take it everywhere. I used to take it to the mailbox. I used to just take it everywhere.
I've been Bradyized again, damn it.
Oh, dang it.
Ba-dum.
Here's the
And
story.
the Brady Bros have finally gotten through all of their episodes. So I don't know what they're going to do now. I quit like listening to them 2 years ago.
Yeah, because
What did you, they went through all the episodes of the Brady Bunch?
that's
Yeah,
a
they-
lot of
they do a-
episodes.
They go through all the episodes. Each episode is a podcast, and they'll talk about all their memories of that episode of doing it. It's a really interesting show. I wanted to see. I picked it up again just because I wanted to see the one where they wrecked the station wagon. I wanted to hear the story behind that.
You mean, did they mean to, or are they?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Because in the story, what happened was Carol comes home
Drunk.
Drunk.
with Marcia and Cindy and Bobby, and they pull in and the whole rear quarter panel smashed up. And Alice comes out and she's like, what do you think Michael'll say? So I guess she'd called her. She's like, I don't know. So they're in the house and Mike didn't see it. And he comes in saying, hi. And she's like, oh, hi, honey. And she's being extra nice. He's like, what's going on? You're being extra nice, this and that. She's like, so a little tiny minor thing happened with the station wagon. And Greg comes in, who banged up the car? And so they were talking about, because I wondered, because it was real damage. I wondered what happened. And they said evidently the crew, the set people did it somehow. Because I didn't know if there was like an accident on set and they just worked it in. But no, they said that they kind of thought they went overboard. They said it didn't look like a parking lot bender. It looked like something happened on the freeway.
Yeah.
They would have had the money to do the body work back then, I think, wouldn't they?
I guess it wasn't that. I think that
You would think, but they were notoriously cheap back then. I remember on Hawaii Five-0, somebody took McGarrett's, his Mercury, the famous black Mercury, and wrecked it. And so what they did was they had the car on the side of the road. They drove one wheel up on the sidewalk, so the whole car was kind of leaning over, and they had the hood up, and then they had like a smoke bomb underneath it, and that was it wrecked.
that's an interesting thing, Tony, because technically, knowing how cheesy they were, that's why I had to listen to the episode, because you would think all they had to do was detach the tail light and have it hanging.
You would think,
something like that. But I mean, yeah, the tail light was disattached and hanging, but there was a legitimate dent in that fender, and the chrome trim was like half pulled off. It was a real wreck. But so what happened is the guy that played. Who was the one they made the law after because his parents stole his money?
Jackie Coogan?
Yeah. So Jackie Coogan was the guy that supposedly hit them, and they basically both said that they were both at fault and we're just going to leave it. But then he came in with and changed his mind, and they had to go to court. And when he went to court, he had this big inner tube around his neck and all this other stuff. Yeah. And so he was basically kind of exaggerating and lying. And what happened is Mike while he was doing his deposition or whatever, Mike took his briefcase and threw it
Oh yeah, I
by the
remember
guy, and it smacked when he hit the floor, and the guy jerked his head,
Oh,
you know,
nice,
and the
nice.
judge dismissed it because he saw he was faking.
Now,
But
was
that was basically
Coogan
what it
still bald from doing Uncle Fester?
I hadn't seen it since the '80s, but I assume he kind of looked like an older. He just looked, yeah. Because my memory of he was kind of a bald guy.
My very favorite car stunt, fake ass car stunt, was on Canon, and they had the Mark V, the Mark IV, and it was an overhead shot, both front doors open, only doors open, and they put like a smoke bomb under each door, and that was the car blowing up. So
bad.
lame.
But I remember the Hawaii 5 episode where McGarrett supposedly got into an car accident, and they were trying to dig him out and everything. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Well, I remember one where he was driving through this park and it was all grass, and he like hits the brake and the car skids to the side, and you see the car sliding by the camera, the front of the car going sideways. It's like, I think they miscalculated that one, but they figured it was so cool looking they just kept it.
Another fascinating wreck scene was on Adam 12 when Martin Milner crashed a squad car and Reed had to help look for him. Remember that?
Because he would never, because Malloy would never let Reed drive I think he drove the car once and backed it into like the police station or some shit. And that
what was his name? Malloy. That was his character's
Malloy,
name. They rarely separated the partners, but I think Reed went off looking somewhere for a suspect, and Malloy went the other way. And Malloy ended up in a very bad accident off the side of the road. Nobody could find him, but Malloy's in this car. The radio doesn't work, of course, and he can see on the road cop cars flashing lights that way. Then he tries honking the horn, but nobody hears him. Finally, tapping the radio together to do Morse code.
Nice.
It was a good episode. One out of 12, you've wrecked your car.
I saw. I was. It was like before, or one of the times at work when we were doing an internet only show. So I had the one monitor on the Me TV or whatever it was, and it was an episode of Adam 12 with Mark Harmon and Kathy Coleman.
Kathy Coleman?
Yep.
Wow.
Where's Kathy Coleman? Where's it? But it was like one of the almost the very end of the because Martin Milner wanted to leave the show, and so they did a test or one episode with Mark Harmon as a new cop, because what they wanted to do was continue the show, but kind of reverse the roles. Have Reed be the older cop, training a new recruit, just as he'd been trained back in '68.
That wouldn't have worked out too well.
Well,
that's a fun picture of Mark Harmon too. I got it pulled up.
Oh yeah.
Where?
On the internet on my computer that's working right now.
Oh, okay. What's that behind you, Chuck? What is that?
That's the HAL 9000.
Oh, is it? Oh.
See?
I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
What movie is that from? 2001?
Yeah, 2002, actually.
I never saw that movie. Can you believe that?
I think I finally saw it in the late 70s.
I don't know. It just looked like it was... What year did that come out?
68.
1968, yes.
That's okay. They were trying to, cash in on Star Trek probably a little bit.
No, because they wanted to make it more realistic. Because they were only going to Jupiter. They weren't going to other planets. Other planet, but not outside the solar system.
Yeah.
But what was funny is that they were flying Pan Am to Jupiter. Because they thought Pan Am was... Because they figured Pan Am was going to last forever. And they went, oops. Did you ever see that TV series Pan Am from like the early aughts?
Mm-mm.
And it was kind of cool. It was, retro 60s and all that. And it was early. It was later aughts. And the girl who I think you played Wednesday Addams back in the 80s, 90s. What's her name? The little kind of apple cheek little chick.
I've heard her name. I can't remember.
Yeah. She was like one of the main characters. She played a stewardess on Pan Am. And they pointed out that in actuality, she would have been too short to be a Pan Am stewardess. Pan Am stewardesses had to be a certain height, weight, every other damn thing.
Oh, you look like a real
Who?
sexy lady.
I'm trying to think who played Wednesday Addams on the 80s. Yeah, the Addams
Oh, I
family
don't
with
know.
Raul Julia.
Oh, that was
Oh, the 80s.
Winona Ryder.
No,
No,
there was another
She was
little
in
girl.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, she was in Beetlejuice, but the little girl who was Wednesday, that wasn't Winona Ryder. That was another little apple cheek chick. I'd have to look it up.
It was.
Go ahead. But while you're thinking of it, something materializes like in Facebook once in a while. It's this picture from around 1970 of Pan Am talking about how discriminate they had all these sexy women, and they said these are all losers that didn't get the job.
Oh,
And I think it was faked because somebody said that Ellie McPherson was one of the models in the picture. But they were trying to get their point across that the person has to be perfect. And you should just hear all of the people in these people in the chatter. It's like, oh, it was so terrible back then, so discriminating. And it's like, oh yeah, what if you're a guy back then? You wouldn't have had a shot either. So shut up.
unless you
Well,
got.
I think that-
unless you
I
lived
think-
in drag.
But no, they had guys, but they would be like the purser, who was like in charge of everybody. It was Christina Ricci.
Christina
Ricci. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And she would have been actually too short to be a Pan Am stew.
Sorry, I got some string cheese here.
And the
She
problem
ever-
with that, they did because that was network TV. It wasn't like Mad Men, which was like basic cable. It was network, so they couldn't show smoking. So, but of course, it was from 1961 or whatever. So everybody smoked.
Yeah,
And so what happened is like every scene would start with somebody like putting the cigarette out.
And Wendy Lou said, was it Christina Ricci?
Yeah, Ricci,
Yeah.
Ricci.
Italian.
So you ready
Did
for
see what
this
she
fun
said
fact?
about what she said about Rockford Files? She said, I saw an episode of Rockford Files, and in one scene, he stops at a gas station and
My
asks the attendant
first
for
job
$3.
was as a gas station attendant, pump jockey, and people would come in and buy $5 worth of gas or $10 worth of gas, and it was actually worthwhile. Now,
I
$10
bought
worth of
10
gas isn't even going to get you in and out of the station.
I know, I bought 10 cents worth of gas once. It was the stupidest thing I ever did. But I was really afraid my Galaxy wouldn't make it over the Danes Point Bridge. It probably cost more than 10 cents just to start it, but I don't know. That's how broke I was back then.
Cents. Gee.
10 cents.
You ready for a fun fact?
Yeah, go for it.
The only 3 U.S. presidents who ever had to deal with real or impending impeachment was Andrew Johnson, Richard Nixon, and Bill Clinton. Here's the interesting fact. All have names that are euphemisms for a penis. Johnson, Dick, and Willie.
Of course, since then there's been
have
Trump, which is
impeachment
something
things
else.
Do what?
This is
thought
pre-Trump. This is pre-Trump.
Oh, pre-Trump. Okay.
Yeah, this book was. Well, I don't. But I guess what they mean by real impeachment is that it actually passed the Senate or Congress to proceed with the impeachment. Did the Trumps actually pass a certain point, or did they?
I don't
No.
think so. I don't think they brought it might have passed the House, but it didn't even. The Senate didn't even bother.
Nah, there was didn't pass the Senate.
Whereas those 3, I think, were actually in impeachment proceedings.
Right? Yeah, Clinton's definitely
people-
did have a trial in the Senate, and I think Andrew Johnson as well.
Yeah, because you need like 2/3 vote in the Senate, I think. They didn't have enough votes.
And did,
Yeah, they
what-
weren't getting-
was Nixon impeached?
No,
Or did it even
no,
go-
it was just under
it just
threat,
went-
and he resigned.
He resigned before it got to that.
Yeah,
He
didn't
resigned
wanna
over crap
drag.
that wouldn't even phase anybody nowadays.
Oh, it wouldn't even be a bottom of the page story now.
Yeah.
That stuff.
Too
What is that
honorable for
behind
his
you?
own good.
That's the HAL 9000 that I was going to put
We're
on.
talking
like
about
2 weeks ago.
2001. That's from the
Okay.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I
It's a
can't
cool
do
movie,
that.
but
Steve's got like a hotel lobby or something behind him.
or a gym.
This is
I
a
think
new
it's a gym.
enterprise.
Like a fitness
Okay.
center with like
I prefer
treadmills.
the old one.
That's the new enterprise. I think that's
From which version? Strange New Worlds, or
I think it was.
the
Happy New
Chris
World.
Pine one, or the?
No, this is from about from Picard when Seven becomes a new captain.
Oh, Ultra
I
Seven.
thought it was a
I
lot
think
darker.
Probably.
I don't know.
Well, they turn most of the lights off to save energy.
It still looks cool though. So
Yeah, I like that. Ooh, I moved my camera.
Did you ever do a? I think they called them chicken fights when you had a kid on your shoulder and they.
yeah, in the pool.
Yeah.
It did seem. Is that what a pool? Because it just seems like nothing good can come out of that.
Oh yeah, it was like most teenage hijinks and horseplay.
I mean, it just seems like. Would you
Walking
want to
across the top of the monkey bars wasn't a smart thing to do either, you know.
But this one's
What?
still the best.
I said walking across the top of the
yeah.
monkey bars on the playground wasn't smart either.
Well, I
put
did
some
that.
posts on mine, like some 3 foot tall posts on top of my monkey bar, so you got something to kind of grab onto a little
Oh,
bit.
there you go.
Kind of reminds me of my post on Facebook about a week or two ago. Have you noticed that you just don't see kids with cast on anymore? You know?
Yeah, unless they had a cast on their thumb from playing the video games.
Yeah, no, because I
true,
remember,
yeah.
back when I was in primary, first, second, third, there was always at least one kid who'd be in a cast.
I remember
Like you
that's a
said,
signing cast, yeah.
And then, during the summertime in the playgrounds, it looked like a rehabilitation clinic, because,
These video games are what causes all the mass shootings. I believe that firmly.
I don't
I believe
dispute
I believe it's part of what's poisoning our kids.
Mhm.
Not my kid. Oh yeah, he's already been there poisoned. But I talked about with Spencer Milligan when we had our bar room, not brawl, but talk. Yeah, that was one of the things he's very adamant about, was that how video games are poisoning kids.
I remember when playing Dungeons and Dragons was, a surefire gateway to hell. It was,
Oh yeah, I remember there was a TV movie back in like the 70s, I think, or the early 80s. And there was a kid who was like totally into, like, wasn't Dungeons and Dragons, it was some
It's like
fake
Demons
ass
and
thing.
Monsters or something.
Yeah, and he ended up killing somebody.
Is that the one with the World Trade Center?
No, I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Oh, this one, I don't think he killed somebody, but he was going to kill himself. He's going to jump off the Trade Center.
But
Oh,
this
I
one,
heard
no, he
about
said
that,
there's
yeah.
blood on my knife. What did I do? So
Oh, you know what? When something's in the news,
yeah, of course.
every network has to make a made-for-TV thing and cash in on it. So there might have been several.
I mean, how many atom bomb TV movies were there? It was like
well, the
half
one
a
that scared
dozen.
the crap out of everybody in 1983,
The day after.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, England had Threads, which was
Yeah.
their equivalent.
And isn't it the day after where they just nuked the hell out of Kansas?
Yeah,
keeping
Kansas
it
City.
warm?
They filmed that there. I remember them filming that there.
Well, there was one where it was like it was South Carolina. It wasn't Charleston. It was
Special Bulletin.
yeah, where they made it like sort of like a
What was the one with
That was
Powers
well
Booth?
done. That ending was really freaky.
Oh,
That
yeah.
What was the one with Powers Booth?
Hmm?
He was a B-52 pilot, and
that I don't
it was
remember.
it was another one of those nuclear war ones. He was a
Because I didn't really
B-52
watch them. The only ones when I watched the one Timmy was mentioning. Special Bulletin.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. If you haven't seen it was basically they ran the whole thing like it was your show was interrupted.
Right.
By
It was
these-
like
by
it was
these
like
terror-
War of the
yeah, it was
Worlds.
terrorists that were in Charleston.
Kind of like the War of the Worlds.
Kind of like that, yeah. But it was TV, and they. And I'll spoil it because you ain't gonna watch this shit.
Yeah.
But it's like it was. You're watching the whole thing and sees people wanting demands and stuff like that, and the anchor woman or whatever, or the woman that was on the spot. Somehow they got a negotiation, or the bomb squad got there and defused things, and she was all happy, and then all of a sudden there was a static, and then it comes back on. The anchorman's, what the hell's going on? And then you could just see flashes of fire coming in and different. It was, and then they kind of pan in, and it's just all rubble, and she's like, is the radiation supposed to get she's still alive, but and then they actually show the replay of it happening, and it's pretty freaky. It was well done.
Yeah.
It's called what?
Special Bulletin.
Wonder if that's on YouTube.
Probably. It's from the 80s. They got all
Yeah,
that
it might
stuff there. It's probably made for TV movie, I'm sure.
Did you see the day after tomorrow filmed in Kansas City? Or you weren't in the Kansas City then?
No, I didn't watch it because I was afraid
Yeah.
back then. Because Darren really drilled it into my head that we were going to die and my skin was going to melt one day when I was walking home from school. So I was.
Well, he probably still believes that. So
That was
Yeah,
like
like-
82, I think.
Yeah, about 83.
81.
But yeah, he really
Well,
had
it was
me.
because of Ronald Reagan. Everybody was convinced back then that, oh, he's going to get us into a nuclear war. He actually, well,
Yeah. Oh, they're saying that about Trump now, too.
well, nah, not so much.
I'll tell you what, this past week, people don't realize it, but we were probably closer to nuclear war than we were at any time in the past 50 years.
Really? What happened?
When Pakistan and India started going at it.
Huh?
Yeah, but are either one of those, and if worth fighting for, and if you got Pakistani or India people here, we love you, but I don't think anything's
Well, I'm not
worth.
picking on them, but when those two went to a brief little conflict just this past week,
Yeah.
they're both nuclear powers.
Yeah.
Well, so they wipe each other out. That's not World War III. I don't think anybody else has close enough ties to them to.
Well, the thing is, it's because nobody has used them since 45.
Mhm.
It's like you don't even want to open that door. You don't want to, be they use it, so then we can. I said,
Well, that's why we're keeping Iran, not to get political, that's why we're keeping Iran from doing it. Because they will. They're stupid enough to use it.
no.
I
Actually,
kinda-
the Ayatollah says he does not believe in weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, right. Or is that Iraq they don't want? Either one. I don't think either one.
Well, Iraq's
I
nothing.
kind of
Iraq's
heard
just a
recently
joke.
that I guess Yahoo was wanting Trump to kind of go after Iran. He finally told him to pound sand.
Yeah.
He got kind of tired of that. He's, us getting in
If
all these
anybody
wars.
throws a nuke, it's going to be North Korea is going to be the first one to throw a nuke at somebody.
Probably.
Yeah, but do you think it'll even leave North Korea?
It can hit South Korea or Japan probably.
You got to remember, Seoul is like 15 feet from the border or some shit. It was
Yeah. The
They didn't arrange
suburbs
that
actually
too
go
well.
up to the border.
yeah.
Well, I'm not going to do it.
But enough of that. Enough nuclear talk.
You remember
Let's talk
that
about the
soldier who tried to defect across into North Korea, and North Korea said, "We don't want this guy. Get out of here."
Yeah, they sent him back. Yeah. I'm sure they interrogated the hell out of him for the few
He
days
was
they
too
had him.
stupid to get any
Who's
information
this?
out of.
Who?
It was an American soldier.
Oh, why would
It
you want
happened,
to
what, a
defect
year
to North
ago?
Korea? Or-
Yeah, I think it was about a year ago.
He was actually being sent out of South Korea because he had committed a crime,
Right,
and they were actually sending him back to the United States to face court-martial.
right.
And he thought he would run. North Korea would be a better option.
And
Oh,
the North Koreans
please.
said, 86.
And they
days.
sent him back like a week later.
Yeah.
Well, at
Sorry.
least he's got stories to tell and places to talk about visiting,
I'd rather come back here and face the music than to go to North Korea.
Okay.
Well, why not go to Why not go to East Korea or
Yeah, there
something
you go.
instead? Yeah,
East Korea.
Northeast Korea.
Go to North by Northwest Korea. You know?
Yeah.
There you go.
I'd rather go to Southeast Korea.
Mount Rushmore.
So did you see what I said on chat? You guys were talking about, the fanboy convention.
No.
But I'll tell you what, the Denver convention's got a shitload of cool ass guests.
Ah,
Really?
Yeah.
Who do they got?
Cool asses.
William Shatner. I mean, and
Yeah, you can, Timmy. You can collect the set, get all the 90-year-olds, because you already got two of them.
Yeah, but I don't have $500 to get an autograph though for that guy.
I don't want one of William Shatner anyway. I'd like to meet him, but
Yeah, Wendy Lou said that like Chevy Chase wanted over $200 for an autograph or something.
Oh, no way.
Something crazy. It's like
No,
You know
if I
what?
wanted,
Yeah.
the only 90-year-old I'd like to meet really is John Aston.
I've got quite a few autographs that are sitting in a box somewhere.
Ah,
And
good.
you know,
I paid a ton of money for
I've
it.
got Chevy Chase's autograph. I got Bill Murray's. I actually got like a golf flag from Caddyshack that like 5 of them signed.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, why don't you just frame them and put them up?
Yeah.
Why are they in a box?
Yeah, you paid good money for them.
Actually,
I found Dick Dale's in a box. His was the only one that was in hiding. And I got the Moody Blues. I got that band's autographs, but I couldn't care.
You say you had your dick in a box?
Yeah, exactly.
A Dick in the Box. Who was that? Justin Timberlake did that Dick in the Box song.
Oh yeah.
No, but I really, yeah, I've got a Moody Blues, but that's one I won't put on my wall. But
Yeah, I've got probably a dozen celebrity autographs, and yeah, they're in a box somewhere.
well, why are you in the box somewhere?
Who cares?
I have.
And why did you get them in the first place?
Because I cared then.
I had James Doohan right before he passed away. I got his autograph.
But it's the best time to do it. If you wait till afterward, they don't sign them.
But now I looked it up, and it's only worth like $50, even though he passed away.
I never even thought about looking up what an autograph is worth.
And my very first autograph was Pia Zadora that Darren drugged me to.
Oh, from Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
I'm almost embarrassed to tell you who my first autograph was.
It was actually she was on tour for her record that she put out. So I guess she did a music album or something.
I'll guess, Steve. Ron Jeremy.
No.
You know, I saw him once. You know what? I saw him once. He was doing some not porn, but just some other BS at the studio where I used to work back in Glendale. He is even shorter and uglier in real life than you.
Oh yeah. No, my very first celebrity autograph was Burt Ward.
Why are you embarrassed about that?
Oh, yeah,
He's a nice guy. He rescues big dogs.
Oh shit!
He actually came out in his Robin costume. This is like back in 1971.
Oh shit!
Olathe.
I'm sorry, Steve.
In Olathe, Kansas, it was some promotional thing at a car dealer where Burt Ward was making the appearance.
Oh, cool.
I've got Eric Estrada. I've got Arlie Ermy.
Oh.
I've
What do you owe shitting about, Timmy?
Because I've got Heather Locklear somewhere, and I haven't seen it in ages, and I still.
Well, you better
I
get
hope I
out
still
or
have
get her
it.
out of there. Maybe she can't breathe.
I don't know. I don't know where it is because I had one box of precious things that disappeared. It had the best model cars I built. It had my Billy Carter and JR private stock beer cans that were full, and it had my diary from when I was a little kid that my mom kept for me.
And
Wow.
Steve, he said diary, the book where you write things down.
That's what I know that.
So I'm hoping my Heather
diarrhea?
Locklear thing. I'm hoping my Heather Locklear thing wasn't with that, because that would have been a great addition to have to my little autograph wall there.
Yeah.
Your mom kept diarrhea from your little kid.
And I have Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I could show you the autograph and you wouldn't know it.
Yeah, one of those.
The only reason why I know it's Arnold Schwarzenegger because I was there when he signed it.
Oh, okay.
But literally, it's like up and down, like
because Richard Petty, number one, you could read it, and then he would go like circles and circles and circles, and then at the bottom he would put 43 on it. He would put the effort into making a signature autograph for people.
I wish I could get an autograph of Lou Ferrigno. Oh wait, once I tried. That's right.
You didn't try at all. I tried harder to get his autograph, and I hated him than you did.
And he's gonna be in Tampa, Steve. So you can.
Tampa.
Yeah, so I can go get ignored again. Yeah. Okay.
You didn't get ignored. You know what? It ought to be called, instead of Tampacon, it'd be like shorten it tampon. What? Steve, that's disgusting.
Steve, I'll go with you, and I'll pay Lou Ferrigno $100 to give you a hug.
So if listen to me, if we go and he ignores me, you're gonna tackle him down.
Yeah.
All right. I'm down.
Wait, you got to be green and in your hoodoo suit,
Yeah,
Steve,
there you
if
go.
he ignores you then.
And don't step in the hoodoo doo-doo.
Hey, what did you think, Steve, of your Steve Arini in the film?
Oh, it was great. Yeah.
I thought he was great. I thought he was like the kind of
breakout star
in that.
My next trick, I'm gonna make my butthole disappear. I love that one.
That was funny. All Steve's. I think, if anything, that Steve's subplot really worked good in that film.
Oh yeah.
As long as you don't paint your eyeballs green, you'll be okay.
It's
That's stuff for me to do.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Did you see the whole film yet, Gotshot?
The second one you sent me, the link is broken and won't let me.
What about the?
That's the second one. Both of them. The first one didn't work, and well, because it expired or something. I don't know what it was. But the other one you sent me through the Google files or whatever, they wouldn't let me link into that either.
I'll try again. I'll email it to you.
Anyways, guys, it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, but
it's
you were
about
only
time.
here an hour and a half.
It's time for me to head out too.
Oh, all right, fine. You were
All
only
right.
here an hour, Steve.
I do want to put this out. Putt,
Yes.
If you're watching this or listening to this, dude, get better, man.
Yeah, man.
Get better.
Yeah, damn
You
it.
miss you,
better.
Putt.
None of this lollygagging shit.
And I
Yeah.
did send you an email, Putt. I did send you a link to the film, so I hope you can see it. And if it doesn't work, like it didn't work for Gotshot, let me know. But
And if you
do
come
hope
back and say they pumped 20 liters of fluid out of you, dude, how much water are you drinking?
That's right.
Is he in the hospital or
Yeah.
is he really? Oh,
He was just out
Well,
of the
I've
hospital.
seen
He's
his
back in the
little circle dot thing in our group chat on Facebook, but he never says anything.
yeah.
All right, but
Well,
so
get
folks,
better, man.
tune in. Next week's going to be on Transforma, and hope to see you
Hopefully
there.
we'll have a
Transforma page. Take care, Laura and Wendy Lou and Fidesco and Lewis, if you're watching.
Now, hopefully we'll have a special guest next week, but I'm not
Yay.
banking on it.
All right.
Yay.
Okay, so bye everybody, and I'm pressing the button.